Hailing frequencies are open. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Last Excelsior, our new Clear Skies campaign here with the StreamPunks. It's so great being back to playing Star Trek again. We're playing Star Trek Adventures 2nd Edition, which, by the way, is going to be available for purchase this Wednesday at the Modifius website. You can do the pre-orders, and you will get immediate access to the PDFs ahead of Gen Con. So hashtag we are sponsored because they threw product at us and we were very happy about that. So just keep that in mind. But also this is rad and we like the system and we like our friends at Modifius and we like Star Trek. So it all just seemed to make sense. With that all being said, thank you so much, everybody who showed up for our premiere last week. It was a big day for us. We had a ton of support. Really appreciate all of the retweets and the fan art, which I am starting to slowly accumulate. I'm going to be pitching the idea of possibly doing a fan art reel with the community. And so I'll get back to all of you guys on that. The only other announcement I have is a quick reminder that if you want to support the StreamPunks or be a part of a community that's shelling out all this great fan art and discussing stuff like episodes, I highly recommend supporting us at Coffee and or Patreon. You can find all of those links at the, I'm guessing there's a bot that does that, and we're moving on. The personal thing that I was gonna throw out there is that there is a role play section for Clear Skies: The Last Excelsior on my personal Discord over in the League of Whimsy, and you can find all that information on a automated machine system thing as well. But you can also find it at 16-Bear Eric on Coffee. Okay. Last thing is we don't have Eliza tonight. Eliza, turns out Eliza's actually hunting Targ. Like, I thought it was a joke, but then she posted a picture of her lifting a dead 400-pound Targ over her head with blood dripping down on her face while she was screaming. Oh yeah,
she doesn't joke about hunting Targ.
I thought she did. I didn't think she would actually be. I mean, I thought with Bonnie coming back into the game and having an affection for Targs, that Eliza might scale back on that. But no, she's been changed ever since Blood of the Void. So I don't mess with that now. So Eliza will be, yes, hold it close, Bonnie. Hold the Targ close. We've had that Targ since S.H.I.E.L.D. A glorious, glorious Targ.
It has a place of honor next to all my Star Trek wine. And sometimes my wine slowly disappears. And I'm like, puppy Targ, what is wrong with you? Purple puppy Targ.
Those are the only announcements I have tonight. Anybody else got anything they'd like to announce before we kick off the game tonight? Yes, Bonnie.
Reminder, I'm in Pittsburgh this weekend for Confluence, if all goes as planned. And then I'm at Star Trek Las Vegas next week. And then a bunch of Star Trek conventions happening in Nashville, and Chicago, and Jersey, and Dallas. Please check those out. And also,
yes.
I can't remember. Star Trek Prodigy's on Netflix. Go watch it.
And it's been rated one of the best seasons of Star Trek in all of Star Trek. It has been rated one of the highest seasons ever made of Star Trek, y'all.
You're welcome. Me. Just kidding.
Yeah. Also, I'm going to throw this out there because I don't know if they're going to, but Noir and Caitlin are going to be at Gen Con. I'm just throwing that out there. So if you're at Gen Con, there's going to be 2 cast members of Clear Skies: Last Excelsior. We should probably tell Modifius at some point.
Yes.
Actually, they already know.
Good. Yeah. I need to get. Oh.
Do a photo at the photo op with you two. Not you two, the band. You two individuals.
But that would have been great. Pat can't hear you.
Oh no.
we have silenced you.
Hey, Video Ninja, we're gonna have a talk. We're gonna sit down and we're gonna have a talk. Okay, so what Caitlin was saying is Caitlin is going to be there, Noir is going to be there, and they've already connected with Modifius, and there might be some kind of photo op, apparently, that could be a thing that happens. So definitely show up.
Not with me.
Not with Caitlin, though. Caitlin, yeah. Caitlin, I don't know who's going to be there, but I'm very jealous. Okay. Can you be heard now, Caitlin?
Can chat hear me? Do you like me again? Do you guys hate me? Be honest.
Come in. Your landing gear is down. All right, we have to wait. Caitlin,
Yay,
there's
okay, they hear
Caitlin's
me.
voice. Okay,
Hi.
cool. Anybody else before we jump into the game tonight?
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
gonna be at San Diego Comic-Con with Althaven this week. It's sooner than I thought.
Yes. Starts Wednesday.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Yeah. All right. So if you're at that hot mess, make sure to find Noir and Althaven. Anybody else have anything before we kick off tonight?
The other hot mess.
Yes. Oh, sorry. Go on.
Before we get onto our big space voyage, if you are curious about other creatures who voyage, butterflies literally crossed the Atlantic all on their own. Find out how the heck teeny tiny little butterflies crossed the Atlantic and how we figured out that butterflies crossed the Atlantic, because it wasn't like we were just following behind them with like a camera or something. Find all of that out on the latest episode of May Contain Science, live on my YouTube now, youtube.com/Delevely, DELEVELY. But
All right.
in our voyage, I'm about to get exploded. I'm excited.
With that, let us begin the next episode of The Last Excelsior. All right. We have a very intense spot to pick up at. Right now, our very own Lieutenant Commander Cadence had just left the hangar in one of your snazzy Peregrine fighters as a way of trying to navigate this asteroid field in order to locate and possibly help this transport that has been sending out an SOS. Now, as a quick reminder to everybody of what the status of this scene is, you all arrived here in the Tanyoto system. The Tanyoto system, as you arrived, you discovered that this place has an unusual trait to it. And on that note, it is worth pointing out that there is a trait in effect. The Tanyoto system has space-time distortions that seem to be warping sensors and making it difficult to actually calculate distance, as well as presenting some other complications, which are becoming more and more apparent as you are all navigating through some of these asteroids. As you've gotten a little bit closer to the asteroid field, Captain Jarin has decided to order a full stop and has raised shields going to yellow alert, and our two Peregrine fighters are taking point and doing a quick exploration. Something a little more agile than just shooting a probe into an asteroid field. When you don't have a good idea of exactly what the nature of these distortions, you wouldn't be able to trust the information that's coming back from the probe. As these two Peregrine fighters were making their way in, you and, if I remember correctly, Lieutenant Marcel, is that correct?
So,
Marcel, you and Lieutenant Marceau are currently navigating into the asteroid field when you came across one of these large chunks of mountainous rock that was slowly rolling to one side. And at the same moment, you caught sight of the freighter that you were looking for, the Calican. You also caught sight of a mine, a Romulan mine of some kind. But it's trailing green, flaming plasma in space. And as you rolled around that corner, the mine blinked, activated, and began to immediately trail after your Peregrine fighter. You are essentially in combat right now, as a mine is barreling towards you. It's going to work a little differently than going up against a starship. In this particular scenario, the mine has its own combat attack rating, except for it's functioning like a automated torpedo that is heading straight towards the Peregrine fighter. So we're going to go ahead and launch straight into initiative. And to be a punk, I'm spending a point of threat to take the first action here.
You mean
You did that last time.
a StreamPunk?
Oh, thank you. I did. So I'm going to give back my point of threat. Thanks for the reminder. Now I'm going to take that first action.
Why would you do that? Right.
Oh, yeah, no. Star Trek Adventure 2nd Edition definitely equips... It definitely equips me with being able to be a little meaner when it comes to combat. However, it also equips players for being a lot more clever for getting out of it. So, to kick things off, I am going to roll an attack because I'm going to take the attack action against Sam's Peregrine fighter. So, Lieutenant Commander Cadence, this thing is going to roll an attack on you. Control security task. One moment here.
You warned us for Beacon to make a backup character. I'm going to actually need one here much sooner.
I know. I'm going to spend some threat to give myself an additional D20.
You're going to laugh so hard when I explode.
I'm going to
be like, I thought you could hold up for more. No.
I'm going to spend 2 threat. And that's a total of 2 threats spent. I just spent a threat for the extra D20. That's the threat to take the initiative. So I'm rolling 3d20. All right. So the difficulty of this is 3. Now, actually, before we do this,
how far away is our ship from this? Are we?
Y'all are considered medium range, I believe. I would say, let me look at Starship Conflict zones. Y'all are currently in medium. So any zone adjacent to the current vessel is 1 zone away. So their 2 ships have literally just exited the zone y'all were in and headed into the asteroid field. But before we do this real quick, I want to double check here because if I remember correctly, let's see. If I remember correctly, you could take the evasive action, but you would cost your. See.
Not a reaction.
Damn it. I mean, what?
1 sec. Standard. Oh, you'd have to have it.
Oh yeah, no, you get a freebie on this one. You can just one shot me.
I'm very upset because I had an idea at the end of last episode, and then you were like, "And we're gonna stop here," and now I can't remember what the idea was, and so I'm racking my brain looking at all my things. Like, what was I thinking?
At this moment. So, just to give everyone a heads up, this episode, because we're going to be diving into the system, which is brand new for Star Trek Adventure 2nd Edition, be prepared because we are going to have moments where we stop and literally just flip through the book to make sure that we've got the rules set. But it's also going to give us all an opportunity to see us and to experience the rule sets ahead of getting your own PDF copy this Wednesday. So, just seeing here as this thing banks around the corner. Oh, right. Okay, so, yep. That is correct. Okay, I'm going to make an attack on you, but the difficulty is 3. This is not an opposed action because currently you are not capable of stopping this thing from flying at you. Okay. Here we go.
Pull a Sam and make
difficulty
it
3, 3d20. I roll 1 success. All right. One success to impact on the Peregrine fighter. So, with that, basically, as Lieutenant Commander Cadence's Peregrine fighter goes around this at the last moment, you see it the same time. You hear Marceau shout, "Commander!" And sure enough, you see the blinking in the corner of your eyes. This thing starts racing towards you. It was just a little too close. So I'm going to resolve the attack right now. Make a quick roll. This is going to be hitting your structure, because it's a random system hit. So if the task is successful, it inflicts damage. Roll a random system to determine which system was hit. What's up, Sam? What's up?
I thought you said it was DC 3.
Yes. Oh, that's right. I needed to score 3 successes, and I only scored 1. That's correct. Thank you for catching me on that. I was still back in. I just need to roll a 6 mode from Beacon. I just need 1 success. That's correct. No, you're right. So this thing is currently trailing behind you. In which case, I'm setting the range as it misses. It locks into you. It doesn't necessarily fly past you. Rather, it maneuvers to the point where it is falling into behind you. It's because it's magnetically locked onto you. So it is currently in short range, and this is going to count as you're correct. It is now close, so it's within the same zone as you. So, thank you for the correction. There is now a mine chasing your Peregrine Falcon, your Peregrine fighter, I should say. So, as you are flying through this asteroid field, it is now your turn. I'm passing the initiative over to you.
Marceau, reverse course on your same vector you came in on. Get out of here now. I'll lead it off. I'm going to break and move orthogonal to the plane of the ecliptic. So not near the Pride, not near Marceau.
Okay.
You know, if you imagine a flat pancake, imagine down or up. There's no down or up in space, so it can be either one you please. Mechanically, that is the impulse minor action into the evasive major action. So then, yes, I will get some opposition.
So you're using impulse as a minor action, which is a helm action. You're using the impulse engines to fly the ship, and you move up to 2 zones anywhere within long range. If you only move 1 zone, you may reduce the momentum cost of movement through difficult and hazardous terrain. So because you are in the asteroid field, it would technically cost you 1 momentum to do this, because you are in that. However, if you decide to only move 1 zone instead, it'll reduce that cost, and you won't have to pay the momentum cost.
Yes, I will move from close to medium with the mine.
Okay, cool. And we're not going to count that as a command action. You basically just shouted that out to Marceau. So when Marceau's turn comes up, then they will be able to take their action. But on this, you're going to go into evasive action. So you maneuver into a quick, unpredictable pattern to foil the enemy. If you take this action during your next turn, all attacks against you become opposed tasks until your next turn. So you use your daring plus con and assisted by the ship's structure plus con. If you win the opposed task, you may move the ship by 1 zone. You don't have to roll this now, because evasive action is just a thing you do. And when the attack comes, that's when you roll for it. But it's until the start of your next turn, all attacks made by your ship are now at a +1 difficulty. So you start dipping and diving.
I'd like to spend 2 momentum if y'all are okay with it.
Go for it.
Okay.
I spend 2 momentum for improved impulse drive. When I use the impulse minor action, I can spend 2 momentum to increase the difficulty attacks against the ship until the start of my character's next turn. So that will
+2
be increased again.
Okay. Yeah, you put that Peregrine fighter to paces, activating it just like back in the old days. And with that, the initiative is going to pass back to me. I'm going to spend a point of... what's up?
I have decisive leadership, which says in a conflict once per round, you or your allies may keep the initiative for free.
That's correct. You can do that if you would like.
So you said Cadence is gonna have some bad stuff happen until their next turn. I would like for it to be Cadence's turn again, please. If that's possible. I don't know.
It is possible, yes. So you are okay. So remind me the trait again.
It is decisive leadership in a in a conflict, once per round, you or your allies may keep the initiative for free.
For free. Okay. Character can attempt a single major action during each turn, though there are two ways you could attempt to gain a second major action in the turn, which is leadership, direct action in this case, or momentum spend. You can spend two momentum after a successful task to attempt a second major action. However, any task attempted by this is increased by 1. So the initiative is going to pass back to you. So what that's going to do, all that does is pass the initiative back. So if Cadence wants to take another action, it's a momentum spend to do it. Otherwise, it is now just the player's turns again, and you guys can, because it's now all of your turns again. So
Okay.
so for example, the Pride could take an action here, for example, if you wanted to. Somebody on the Pride could take an action.
I'm not sure if we have a direct line of sight to this mine, but one of my talents is precise targeting.
Okay.
So I can easily pick out and target specific, it says against an enemy vessel. So I guess
that's okay.
Yeah, but I can target specific things when making an attack.
Like ship systems, you mean?
Yeah, but I was wondering if that precision targeting would be able to precisely target this mine in particular.
Not really. It's a flying bomb. So there's not really a ship system that you'd be able to target. You'd probably just want to target the mine and not worry about, because there's no benefit in trying to hit its propulsion. No matter what you hit, it's going to pop.
Understood. Okay. Well, I'd like to try and shoot it.
Okay. So making that shot, you can absolutely open fire with ship's phasers on this mine. There's there's a couple of things to keep in mind as the Pride opens fire. First of all, this isn't like our previous ships. You're not using phaser arrays. You're using phaser banks, which are way more powerful than phaser arrays. They're more concentrated.
Okay.
So keep that in mind. The one thing I would tell you is that you are, if I remember correctly, phasers can easily hit something at medium range.
Yes.
The problem here is,
type,
I'm sorry, what was that?
Depending on the phaser type, I believe banks are good for medium, though. We may want to double check.
Okay, I can double check right now. Just pull that up.
The phaser cannons I have on my fighter, for instance, are close. So I will need to wait until it closes on me if I wanted my optimal firing solution.
Right. Okay. Starship weaponry, phaser banks are medium range. Also, keep this in mind too, Bonnie, as you're making this attack. This is going to be super important for you. But phasers are awesome because they have the versatile trait. The versatile trait is if an attack is successful with the weapon, you gain bonus points of momentum.
Hey!
In this case, versatile 2, which means if you successfully hit, you gain 2 bonus momentum. However, you have to spend it right away.
Okay.
You can't save it. You can't bank it. So, bonus momentum always has to be spent right away. So in this case, you're going to make an attack. Now, because the trait sensor interference is still in place, I'm going to increase the difficulty of making a shot on this.
Okay.
That is the scene trait because of the asteroids that are tumbling in front of the Pride and all of the sensor interference and distortion that are in front of the Pride.
Okay.
So normally to make an attack on anything with the phasers is going to be a difficulty 2. Right now, it's becoming a difficulty 4.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Because of all the interference that you guys are running into.
How much momentum do we have left?
Right now you have 1.
Ah, poopy. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, God. So I would need like 2 crits.
You'll need to make a control security plus weapon security for the Pride.
Okay.
Roll Pride.
Someone roll Pride. Control security. I'll one momentum.
Pride.
I can spend. I'm going to spend a momentum to get an extra die. That's okay. With all of you.
Mm-hmm.
Even more so. Yep. Okay.
You remember rolling, so you gain an extra die, so you spent that momentum. You guys are at 0 momentum now, so you've got 3d20, so you're going to add, just as a quick refresher.
Instead of that, can I, sorry y'all, let's keep that one momentum. I'm going to, because one of my species ability is intense. Yes.
Endurance.
So when I purchase one or more die by adding to your threat, I generate a bonus momentum for each d20 purpose.
Okay, so you want to award me a threat?
So we can get, yes.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to take one threat.
And in doing so, it says, I have to succeed at it first. Okay,
so you have to succeed at the attack. Yeah.
Oh, and what's the roll for Pride?
The Pride is
13.
weapons plus security.
Okay, so I'm going to roll 3d20.
The difficulty of this is 4. Now, do keep in mind, it's a quick reminder before you make this dice roll.
Yes.
Do keep in mind, we are also playing around right now with we're experimenting right now with our new story point system that we have for StreamPunks. So keep that in mind. And the way that goes is you can call upon an aux crew point. If you call upon an aux crew point, what it will essentially do is it will increase the range that you could crit by 1, and it increases the complication range by 2. So it raises your chance of getting a crit, but it also raises your chance of getting a complication. Sort of like it's basically a gamble.
Right. Okay. So I'm about to roll this.
Okay.
I do have focuses that would apply to this, obviously, in weaponry and
right.
Everything like that. So I'm hoping for at least one of those, and hope the Pride succeeds. But are you ready? Here we go.
Do you have a focus by any chance?
Yeah,
I do.
She's got to focus in this.
I do.
Starship weapons, I believe, is your
focus. Okay.
Yep.
I got a success.
Okay.
I got a 4, which is
2 successes.
2. So that's 3 total.
And 1 from the Pride.
Okay, great. But my third die was also a nat 20.
Excellent.
So I succeeded, but complication. But yay, mine blowing up.
Okay, I have to check something real quick. And it's because it's been a hot minute. And I want to make sure that this system follows the same course of rules as first edition.
But we do have 1 extra momentum now. FYI, everyone.
Stand by.
Because of that. Now we have 2.
Stand by. As I'm excited when the PDF comes out, because then aux crew can look all these rules up with us. Yeah, I might even do something kind of unusual and open up chat and watch chat so I can see other people pull up rules before I can get to them, because chat is notoriously good at doing that. Yeah.
I'm all nervous now.
Okay, let's see. Starship conflict interactions. Performs. Okay, the character nominates. Right. If the character attempts a task. Okay, 255 is the page I'm looking for. I just need to make sure, because what I'm questioning right now, to give you an idea of why I'm looking this up, is in the old rules, it specifically states that in order for you to benefit from an assisted success, you have to succeed on the roll. You technically rolled some successes, but you didn't hit the threshold to succeed on the task. So I'm wondering, does it matter?
You just have to roll 1 success.
I think you just have to roll 1 success, and I just wanted to make sure.
So I got really excited when I rolled the nat 20, by the way, because I was like, yeah,
my brain off on you for a while now.
Task, yes, top of 256.
Correct. Yes, that is correct. If the task leader generates at least 1 success, all successes generated by the assistants helps in the task. I'm going to highlight that. Cool. Which means with the assist of the Pride, you are actually going to succeed at hitting that mine and popping it. So, as you accelerate and bank out of the area, Cadence, you see on your sensors behind you in the view screen, it's kind of flickering a little bit as your view screen is having difficulty cutting through some of the interference here in the asteroid. You suddenly see a brilliant orange, yellow, hot flash of thick phaser beams firing in rapid succession. They slam into the mine that's chasing you with expert precision, and the mine explodes. As it explodes, the rock around it, this is the complication, the rock around it also detonates as a secondary mine that was hidden behind it explodes in tandem. Rock shatters and fills the zone. causing the zone to gain an increased difficulty of now 2 difficulty on the zone for movement. And I'm going to have Marceau have to make, I'm going to roll. Actually, I'm just going to say Marceau is just going to be subjected to the difficulty of the increased hazard now. So I'm going to add to this trait. So sensors 2, and now I'm going to say hazard rocks 1, which means in the zone around the transport, maneuvering, getting through there, and seeing it are now an increased difficulty of 3. So whatever difficulties you get, the difficulty of that zone is just increased to 3. But that is immediately the threat that is chasing you, Cadence, explodes behind you. You see these beautiful teal-colored flames in space erupt outward in a fantastic starburst, and then suddenly followed by all this porous rock smashing into each other and creating this incredibly dense field of debris that scatters out in all directions. Thankfully, none of it comes close to the transport. It seems to be protected by that larger rock that was hiding that mine that was chasing you in the first place. You see impact craters forming as these things splash down against the surface of this huge rock. Also, thankfully, that huge rock doesn't move. Okay, the initiative would technically pass back to me at this point. However, the immediate threat of the mines has been completely neutralized.
You hear over their comms, "You're welcome and sorry."
Oh, give me a chance to say thank you first, Pride Tactical. Much obliged.
Marceau confirmed Cadence. Commander, I've got no immediate threats on sensors, but I don't know how much I trust these sensors. Eyeballing things in here. I'm going to go ahead and reduce speed. Do you want me to return to the ship?
Yes, use eyeball mark 1 if you have to. Exact course you came in on. It's the closest thing we have to known good. Don't flip end to end. I don't want to risk a wing clipping a mine or something. You just look in the rearview mirror and you make it back to the Big Bird. Understood?
Understood. Copy that, Commander.
All right.
Headed back home. You see in the rear sensors, the Peregrine literally just comes slowing to a stop. And typically this is where you would flip and burn, but instead you see the Peregrine come to a stop and gently swerve and head back the exact same course it came in on, streaking straight back towards the USS Pride, which you can see the big glorious Excelsior refit just sitting outside the asteroid zone. You have a pretty clear point of view at this point, Cadence, of the civilian freighter. You'd gotten a quick glimpse of it when you banked around that rock, but even from being a zone away, over here you can see it trailing this sparkling, looks like some kind of plasma fuel that is just trailing outside its aft. Some kind of rupture or leak, but they're in bad shape. Sensors are not immediately telling you what kind of shape they're in, but they're not moving very much. You can see that the ship does seem to have power, though. What would you all like to do?
Bird. It is a bit jammed up around here. Any chance you can see anything before I run myself into another mine that poor Tactical there has to shoot?
Let's see if we can avoid that. We'll run scans to see if there are any signs of life. If so, we'll commence with the rescue.
Copy that, Big Bird.
We have got to find a better call sign for us.
Have you considered being
No,
smaller?
I like it. I like it.
So can we attempt to scan, or that we're still in the disruption?
You can attempt to scan. However, it is going to take a science officer scan, which unfortunately that is going to be played by me this time around, because Sam has control of their main character, Cadence. So I'm going to be taking science officer check here. But if you are ordering the science officer to make a quick scan, that can be done.
Absolutely. If we could get that scan in, that would be lovely.
Okay. Do a quick roll here.
Stats in chat.
I'm sorry?
Stat in chat.
Thank you. All right, making a quick roll here. Gotcha. All right, Vrali, you are going to be making a quick roll here.
Whoever rolled for Pride, magic number 11.
Somebody wants to roll for Pride? Vrali is going to make a quick roll.
I can take it.
You
all right,
take
cool.
it. I just rolled a complication. I don't feel confident right now.
Yeah. All right, so because of the nature of the field, the increase is now at a +3 difficulty. What would normally be a difficulty 1 is now a difficulty 4. You can already see a little bit of the irritation on Lieutenant Avrali's face as they lean down, muttering something to the computer like they're trying to negotiate with it. And you see them just kind of lean in and tap on the console and just be like, you are being difficult right now. As they are...
Pride
roll.
3.
You rolled 3?
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately... Vrali rolled a 17 and an 18, and you see the irritation as they swivel in their chair, looking directly at you, Captain, and just say, sorry, Captain, sensor interference is just too intense. The rock seems to have some kind of mineral that's affecting things. I don't think that it might actually be a distortion in space-time or even subspace. I think it's somehow related to the asteroid field itself. It might be the mineral deposits located within the asteroids. It could also explain why it is that it was mined. It's the perfect way to hide any kind of, what do they call them? Booby traps.
All right.
Technically, I need to find out why they call them that. And they pivot back towards the science station.
Quick question. This is a real question.
Ask away.
I know as command, I can spend a determination to give somebody a determination to use for a roll, but I don't know if we're allowed to re-roll something that we failed.
You are. You can, but here the problem is right now the support character is not under the control of a player, so determination can't be spent for the support character.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah. But
all right.
Actually, I'm not 100% sure that's true. I'm just going to look that up real quick. It's been a hot minute, and we've never played the support characters before. So I'm like, well, wait a minute. That may not necessarily be true.
Listen, we came to stress test.
144. Yeah.
I believe I was just looking at it.
I did message Jim Johnson, and I was like, hey, just so you know, episode 2 is where we're really going to dive into this stuff.
I'll let you know right now if the answer is yes. I got the techno babble generator right here, and I am going to come up with some sci-fi bullshit for why we're re-rolling.
There may not actually be. Let's see. Supporting character gains a single value. The option may be determined. Oh, you know what? So what does your trait allow you to do again?
Oh, I'll read it for you.
Yes, please do.
It says commanding officer. The commanding officer may spend a point of determination
to give somebody your determination
to grant any other character they could communicate with 1 point of determination.
Then it doesn't matter.
This does not have to be linked to a value.
Yeah, it doesn't matter then. It basically you are giving them a determination, so it doesn't matter. You basically get to use it so that they can do that. And spending determinations is the same thing as spending a value. Determination is basically spending a value. So. You can technically do it to get rerolls, but I would need to know, does it require you to explain what determination it is you're spending?
No.
Okay, it's just a thing you get to do.
Yeah, that's a powerful talent.
Command, man. So in which case, I would just request that you find a way to role play.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's why I got the techno babble chart. I'm ready.
Yeah, that's I figured. I figured you were gearing up for it.
Jared's going to just turn over in the chair and go, we can't let the console beat you. Here, why don't you try to amplify the auxiliary particle displacement, and that should adjust the signal just enough for you to squeak through. Give it a go.
Okay. So you are spinning on this. It is to create, this is, before you roll, you're spinning it after the fact. So this allows you to, determination spin. Moment of inspiration. You may spend a determination task to roll the dice. After they've been rolled, you can re-roll any number of d20s in your pool. Here they go.
You got this.
All right. I roll a 3 and an 8.
Ooh.
So close,
Does the
and
Pride 3 still count that I rolled?
Yes, your roll still. I did not choose to re-roll that one, so that one's still in effect. Which means it technically is counted as having a focus.
Yeah, I was about to say, is there a focus involved?
Oh, but unfortunately, the Pride's. I think science is only one.
Oh, that's okay.
Pride USS Sally Ride. She is not. In this case, though, the 2 successes with 3 means you're actually going to. Let's see. That is going to hit. However, I think that actually.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yep, that's 4.
It comes in under Avrali's focus.
That's right. Comes in under Avrali's focus, and the difficulty was 3. No, it was 4.
It was 4.
Yeah, difficulty 1 plus 3. Yeah. Okay, so you're actually gonna. So as you say this, Captain, Avrali goes, right, and then immediately like starts tapping. Goes, Excelsior. Yeah, of course. Little different.
Never doubted you for a second, Lieutenant.
Sure enough, you see coming through on the sensors that Lieutenant's under your guidance, Captain. Lieutenant follows your lead, and you see coming up on sensors at the science station what looks like an old civilian freighter, and readouts start immediately coming in. You can now spend your 1 momentum if you want to get additional information off of what I'm about to tell you. Here's what you learn. It's an old civilian freighter, older than the Pride, which means this freighter is probably pushing about 95 to 100 years old. Looks like it's capable of achieving warp 3. It is currently suffering major power fluctuations. That's how much you were able to get at this range with the sensors. If you'd like to spend for an additional point of obtain information, you may. But the other thing I will tell you is their comms look like they are down. Their comms are not responding. They're looping an automated message over and over of an SOS on all frequencies.
Are we able to get a signal to so we can transport over?
Does that mean you were skipping additional information just to make sure, so we don't double back?
I want to know if the information was enough that we would be able to do that. If not, then yeah, I would want to spend another momentum if that's okay with you guys. All right, then yeah.
May I offer a potential alternate for consideration, though of
Please
course I defer to my captain. I would love the information of, are there any mines in between there and the ship? It just seemed like either one is useful information. Just, you know.
Oh yeah, I don't want you to blow up yet.
Are there any other mines between the USS Pride and the freighter? Is that the question?
I admit I am more selfishly interested in
I was going to ask.
too.
Or are you asking if there is between Commander Cadence and the freighter?
Can we see locations of any mines in between Griffin 2? But again, if you think transport, if we just want to yoink, I defer to the captain.
You know what? I will do. I tell you what. Go ahead, and I am going to implement a little bit of a house rule here, because Cadence, with you out there in the asteroid field, I think as serving point for eyes and ears of the Pride, you should be allowed to assist on this roll as well. So go ahead and make me a quick science check to see if you can smash that difficulty. I don't know. It's kind of high.
What was when you say hi? What do you mean?
Well, it is difficulty 4, so you just actually already hit it. You just need to succeed at your skill rate. So science. What's that?
I'm absolutely garbage at reason science.
Okay.
And yet, I rolled the exact number I would need to roll. So, in fact, 1 success.
Don't forget, you get assisted by your ship systems, because you're in Peregrine.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Peregrine does not help.
Okay. Because you also rolled a success, you're going to generate a momentum. So you're spending 1 to ask if there are any mines. Yes, there is 1 mine. However, it is completely inert.
Mine.
The mine has complete. The power has been completely. It looks like it's been inert for a very long time. Sensors are detecting it, but indeed, these mines do appear to be Romulan in origin, but they also appear to be very old. Not as old as the freighter, but at least 40 or 50 years old from the looks of it. Probably left here and forgotten about, or they're using an older propulsion systems. They are, of course, plasma mines, however. This one is not armed. It is completely deactivated. Not a threat.
All right. And then the other question is just the transport question, and I think we're good to go.
Okay, so that is going to be another momentum spend. But to answer... Yes, it will be a roll, but yes, you could transport over there.
Anybody feel like stretching their legs? Yes. Out of game question. Is there a set away? Well, we just got here. Is there a set away team, or is it? I assign folks to go.
It would be Commander Hada Ben.
Yeah,
Hada would be the first person in charge of the away team and would immediately assign people to follow her over there. So your first officer would say, "Aye, Captain," and I will assemble the away team right away.
Sounds good. We just need to pick up any signs of life. If there's nothing, we'll bring you back, and we've got more staff to pick up.
Okay. Hada nods and looks over at you and says, "Lieutenant Zarya, you're with me." And head straight for the turbolift, tapping on her communicator.
Understood. And Zarya straightens her uniform and follows.
Also orders Evrali to follow. Lieutenant Evrali. So the three bridge officers heading to the turbolift. As she gets into the turbolift and says, "Transporter room 2." It's a short journey, and as you guys arrive at transporter room 2, she taps on her comms, and Caitlin, you're a lieutenant junior grade engineer.
I am an ensign.
You're an ensign.
I am an ensign.
You're engineer. There is a chirping sound as you hear Commander Hata Ben come through on your comms saying, "Ensign Nell, please meet us in transporter room 2 and bring your engineering equipment. You're on my away team."
I'm on the way. It like makes eye contact with the superior officer in the engineering. Like, I'm on
chief engineer
yes, Commander.
looks at you and just says, "Well, I don't know about you, but I'd start moving, ensign."
I should go. And she like starts walking and then turns back around, grabs her kit and starts like scurrying away.
Okay. Transporter room 2 is literally just a few decks down from the main bridge. The doors open up. You step inside just in time to see the away team holstering phasers to their side. There's engineering kit in your hand, as you were also handed a hand phaser. And Hata looks at the team and just says, "We're not expecting any hostilities. I think these are just people that are in need of help. But just be aware. You never know what might be waiting for you over there. And they might be surprised to see us. It seems like their sensors may not have been able to pick us arriving. But my guess is we're going to have injured."
They may be injured, they may be afraid, and that can cause hostility in itself.
Speaking of which, unfortunately, Elisa's alternate character is actually the chief medical officer.
Yes.
So, in that case, for tonight, I'm going to say that if somebody wants to pilot the support character, and I might offer that to you, Noir, if you want to be the chief medical officer for the evening and beam over there. You have the option if somebody wants to do it.
I'll do it.
Okay.
I know nothing about this character, but I'm ready.
Yeah, we've never
we have not. I think what we had decided is because we were still implementing our support characters. I think one of the things we had decided is the chief medical officer was one of the characters that was going to be transferred onto the ship when we arrived at the starbase. I'd have to double check my notes, but we hadn't had a full introduction of all the support characters just yet.
Yeah, I think mine will be not on the ship yet. So
okay, so I think what we'll do here, what we might do in this case, is I might just hand you some quick NPC stats for you to play here, Noir. And in which case, I would say we're just going to say a medical officer, and I'll let you here in the moment come up with a name, a rank, And I would say, if you would please, just turn to page 353 in the core book, and you'll see the stats for a Starfleet officer.
Okay.
The only thing I'm going to ask you to change here, it says you get to add 3 points to attributes based on your species. You can do that. I would say if you want to go ahead and make that change and just make note of it. But as a game master note, you can add 1 point to 2 different departments. So I would say at least 1 point is being added to science and 1 point is added to medicine. Gotcha. If you want to do that, I would say add 1 point to medicine, but however else you want to add that.
I have my character sheet from the Klingon doctor I played, so I can just be Dr. Nunic washed again.
I believe Elisa's character sheet for the doctor is in the Discord.
Okay, great.
The second one that I replied to earlier today, the one at support crew also is the message.
Oh, I see it. Yeah. Do you see it, Noir?
The link.
The link, Google Spreadsheets link.
Yeah.
In crew chat.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's the one you want. It says support crew also.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one you want.
Selma Conway. Yep. Okay, got it.
Cool.
Everyone in chat's like, wait, who's who? What's happening?
Yeah.
You get a character. You get a character.
Yeah. So real quick, so this is actually one of the reasons why we've never played with support characters before, because we were afraid it might be confusing. We had the option of doing this on Shield of Tomorrow. We decided to skip it. We had the option of doing it on Clear Skies. We decided to skip it. Blood of the Void, skip it. We just kept skipping it. In this case, we decided, let's not skip it this time. Let's actually play out all of the crew members that we can aboard the ship and actually make this an experience where you guys get to play the different support characters. Now, if I'm not mistaken, we also have the ability to switch some of the nameplates. So,
I didn't have one prep for Elisa tonight, but we're going to get Elisa's first.
Don't even sweat it. But in this case, we have Bayanel and
Bayanel.
What is it? Bayanel?
Bayanel, yeah.
You always pick names that are pronounced exactly the opposite of how my phonic brain wants to pronounce them.
And you know what? I love to keep you on your toes.
Yeah, I think.
Maya like Maya.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. In which case, you guys are all equipped. You have your medical officer, you have an engineer, you have your security, you have your commanding officer. I am now going to beam you all over. So with that, you step up onto the transporter pad. Transporter chief just nods. Your commander says, energize. And with that, you hear that almost like wind chime sound effect starting to spread out around you as the energy flow encases your entire body. And you are transported over to a very darkened interior. In fact, where you rematerialize is an old catwalk. It's wide enough that all of you are fitting in here just fine. As you rematerialize in here, there's flickering lights overhead, almost in the same style as like fluorescent bulbs that are starting to go out, except for this is the main ship overlay systems that are starting to flicker. But also, you immediately are detecting the air here is very thin. As soon as you all beam in, you can sense it. It's like you're having to take a little bit of a deeper breath. As you're taking deeper breaths, taste buds and sense, you're all sensing that there is some kind of taste in the air. It almost tastes like it's got that nasty like ionization. Like it's almost like it almost tastes like a vacuum cleaner blew up somewhere. Like dust is in the air. It's got that same environment to it. Also, there are clear signs of scorch marks and burns all over the walls, and you guys can hear shouting up and down the corridors as you all transport in. Gravity is still in effect from the looks of it. Immediately, the commander pulls out her tricorder and is going to run a scan to find out what the heck is going on over here, because now you don't have to worry about external sensors trying to break through all of this material that was causing interference. So Commander Hata is going to scan, and she is going to roll her, okay, so reason 11, science 2, plus she's going to be, difficulty is going to be reduced by 1. So she is going to, she rolls a 3. Let's see if she has any focuses that'll help her here. They are not written down, unfortunately, on my copy of the sheet. So she's going to get 1 success. With that, oh wait, hold up though. 1 second. I should not take this for granted. As she makes a tricorder scan, I should not take this for granted because this is technically going to fall under gear. So weapons and gear. Let's find out exactly what a because in the old game, a tricorder was meh, kind of was more of a narrative tool to help you do a thing.
Page 241.
Yep. Tricorder, blah, blah, more common. Tricorders are standard issue. They don't have a cost. Medical trial, higher res. Okay. Equipment trait. Oh, they're just like weapons. Some of these have an additional rules. Equipment traits. The more common science. Medical tricorder had fewer sensors. Tricorder, multi, blah, blah, blah. Cool. Oh, okay. Yeah, just basically it's easier this way. It just functions as it allows you to make a scan of the area. Discord is popping right now. Okay.
It's getting the overlay looking pretty for you. Don't worry about it.
Oh,
Don't
sweet.
worry about it.
Yeah, like, shut up, Eric. Shut up. This is me calling attention to poor Ryan Green every time he tried to crawl in front of the camera. Okay. Communicator standard issue. Begin of the competition. Okay, cool.
And you said that we were hearing yelling, like screaming.
You're hearing shouting and screaming.
Okay. I
okay.
immediately put my phaser at the ready.
Okay. So she taps a couple of buttons on the tricorder as she is currently scanning it around, and you can see immediately the heat in here is making Hada a little uncomfortable right away. She clears her throat and taps on the communicator a little bit, linking a lot of the system scans to your tricorders. So everybody starts seeing the same data start popping up on your tricorders. And on comms, you hear over on the USS Pride with some slight interference, Captain. You hear the commander say, "I've got some readings coming in now, Captain. I can't get an exact number, but I am detecting life signs. I'm also detecting it looks like some escape pods have been launched. Fluctuating power. Looks like there's something happening with the life support systems. As well as I'm detecting a power fluctuation in the engine room. Perhaps the one you scanned when we first initially scanned the ship."
Are these fluctuations showing any signs of danger for the individuals left behind?
Can't tell at this range. We'd need somebody to go into the engine room itself to take a look, but I can't imagine a power fluctuation in the engine room is going to be good.
Then I need you all to move quickly. Let's get those people out of there.
We're going to... You see, Hada immediately turns to the away team and says, "We're going to split into 2 groups. So I need you, Ensign, to head immediately to the engine room." And
Yes.
she then turns and looks directly at you, Zarya, and says, "I need you to go with her to make sure that everything is under control. I'm going to be going with the doctor and making sure that the doctor is covered and finding out who's injured and what the situation is here."
I understand that, but just be wary, especially when if sorry, I also just choked. Didn't actually happen. The air, obviously
It's so dry and thin.
It's so dry and thin. Oh my goodness. I'm Andorian. Can we turn the cool up?
Well, yeah, you are a species that likes the cold, and Hata is a species that really enjoys the undersea. So
we're all over the place.
The two of you in particular are not really having a great time.
No. Understood. Just please be wary.
And you
keep your phasers.
Check in every 2 minutes.
Acknowledged. Come on, Ensign.
And Doctor, you with me? And the 2 of you head to the front of the ship while the other 2 of you head towards the back of the ship.
Oh,
meanwhile, outside,
Yes.
Cadence, you're getting a better look at the damages done, and you can see clearly as you're edging towards the ship itself, kind of creeping up on it at slow impulse. You can see, first of all, you can see the mine that's been deactivated. It looks like it does indeed look like a completely deactivated and a mine that you guys could study if you needed to, but it is deactivated, and looks like it's lodged in one of the rock faces of the larger asteroids, but the damage done to the ship, it's clear that the ship struck at least 2 mines. You can see that it looks like the port side has been scorched heavily, and starboard side looks like the plasma flames that were burning along the hull have only just begun to subside finally. So you're actually seeing this haunting, ghostly, like green plasma licking across the surface as it starts to slowly die away.
And I'm hearing comms chatter about escape pods.
Yes, you would probably have a good look that it looks like there were 6 ports for pods, and all 6 have been ejected. It looks like you can see.
I have no eyeballs on them.
There's no sign of them on visually. There's no sign out here. If they're in this asteroid field, who knows?
They could run right into a mine. So I'm going to have to move very carefully and possibly very cleverly and locate all of them so the Pride can pick them up.
If you move out of this area with the ship, you can lose the hazardous rock that has been implemented and only have to contend with the sensor interference from the rocks.
And the mines.
Yeah, assuming that there's more mines. It's also assuming that the escape pods were launched here. And this was this being the final resting space of the ship. It's hard to say.
Well, hard to say, but I can either operate on the assumption that the escape pods are away and fine, or I can make sure that there isn't something about to knock into a mine with its elbow.
Yeah. So you're gonna commence a search for escape pods then?
Correct.
Okay, cool. In which case, I'm gonna go ahead and have you make a helms check for me here. And don't worry, this is not to dodge any rock and such. You're gonna have to spend a point of momentum to even move through this space. And since you guys have 0 momentum, this is one of those incidents. This is one of those moments where you're probably going to have to use the movement action specifically just to move through the zone.
There's a maneuver action from
Right.
home that sounds like the correct one to take here.
All right. I'm going to and just so you all know, if you do need to ping me with anything, I'm putting Discord on streamer mode, so I won't be able to see it. But just giving you a heads up.
Let me see if I can verify maneuver.
All right, so
control con plus engines con difficulty 0.
Yeah.
Easy.
So the difficulty here would be 0. Yes, that's correct. Go ahead and make your roll. You can go ahead and do the thing.
Yep. And if someone feels like rolling for a paragriffin, you're trying to roll under an 8 for whatever good that'll do.
I rolled and I failed you horribly. I rolled a 14.
All right, well, I got a 1, and that's all I need. So
That is
that'll
all
get
you
me
need.
through the area.
So you generate a success, which you immediately then spend on getting out of the difficult terrain.
Mm-hmm.
And in which case, Cadence, as you maneuver out of the asteroids, you begin to see that they start to break up rather quickly. They thin out. So you're starting to realize, of course, it was a forest for the trees situation. It looked like they were spread out over thousands of kilometers. As you maneuver away from that dense area, you begin to see that this belt is actually quite thin. And as soon as you start leaving that zone, you start passing through the asteroid belt out onto the other side. You immediately exit out. You still have eyes. You can still clearly see the USS Pride and the next zone over. And you can still see the sparking flames off the edges of the freighter. In front of you, though, you see the supermassive gas giant is in front of you. That is swirling with deep orange, reds, golds, browns. This gas giant is Tanyoto 4 as it pops up. And go ahead. Go ahead and make me another reason census check for this. And the difficulty of this is actually going to be 0. There's no interference out here on the other side. And these escape pods, being as old as they are just trailing energy, trailing plasma. So go ahead and make a quick roll here.
All right, if someone wants to fail at a roll under 6, that'd be great. Meanwhile, I will fail at a roll under 8.
I'll roll for you.
Oh,
Yeah.
hey.
I don't have the heart to let you down again.
Okay, wait, I have to roll under a 6?
Yep.
Oh boy.
It's not a censor's bird.
Peregrine fighters
Wow,
are all.
how's a nat 1?
All right,
Oh!
D&D
Brings us
Beyond
through.
D&D Beyond thinks that they screwed me, but not.
All right.
All right.
Sad paragraph.
So that is a crit. That is 2 bonus momentum right at the top. So a total of 3 momentum. All right. So y'all can add that to your pool of spend as you need. In which case, Cadence, as you maneuver outside of this asteroid field, and you immediately see your sensors all across the L cars in front of you begin to immediately crystallize and form into a clear vision of exactly what the sensors are detecting. You detect clear, obvious signs that there were escape pod jettisons before they entered the asteroid field. You also see signs that at least one asteroid looks like it has been rogue from the asteroid field. You can see signs that one of these rogue asteroids had probably been drifting away. And that immediately, Starfleet training, a gas giant this close, every now and then one of these asteroids probably get plucked by the gravitational pull and pulled away. In this case, you also see signs that there was another detonation of a mine. And you see on your sensors debris as well as plasma trails. So that's what you're picking up. You don't, the debris, I will go ahead and tell you right now, your sensors detect the debris is likely from the Calican, indicating that this was actually the impact site of the first mine strike.
Inside the ring.
Outside of the asteroid belt. So
they were hit with mines before they got into the belt that we know to be mined.
So to piece it together for you, basically what the sensors are telling you, because you're seeing evidence of rogue asteroids that have drifted away from the belt, pulled probably by millions of years of gradually growing closer and closer to the gas giant. One of these rogue asteroids looks like it's been pulled away because it's showing signs that it has also been partially pulverized. And you're also seeing debris indicating that a mine went off. 2 + 2 here is that it's likely one of the mines got pulled away from the asteroid belt and collided with the ship that was not trying to enter the asteroid belt.
So my misunderstanding is Tanyota for outward or
Inward. It's
onward?
system
Right.
inward. Yeah.
And they jettisoned before they entered the belt.
Where they were hit by a mine before they entered the belt. 6 escape pods jettisoned before they went into the asteroid field.
Meaning that it is possible that the area the Pride is in could still be subject to mines.
It's possible.
Outside the belt.
Outside the belt it's less likely, but it is possible.
Well, otherwise, why jettison escape pods outside the belt?
So
They said they did it earlier.
They're on the other side. They're on the opposite. They're across the street from the Pride. So across the street from the Pride is where the gas giant is. These rocks being pulled towards the gas giant, it's likely the impact of the explosion happened on the other side where you are. So the Pride is not in danger of having gravitational forces from
No, yeah.
a gas
certainly.
giant. Yeah.
I was understanding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I caught that I hadn't described it well enough. So that's where that's happening. Yeah.
Okay.
So the way you're mapping it into your head is at some point, one of these mines may be connected or probably orbiting, perhaps one of these asteroids was eventually pulled away, perhaps by the gravitational pull of the gas giant. And at some point it probably came into contact with this freighter which then caused a destructive impact.
So they
What happens
mined
from there?
the field. The freighter went into the field and through, but once they got to the other side of it, they hit a mine.
They hit a mine and they went into the field. They hit a mine outside the field. They went into the field is what you can get. You know that they were hit by more than one mine.
Okay.
So if you would like to spend a momentum for obtain information, I can map it all out for you to make it make perfect sense, because I'm only giving you pieces of what's happened and not linking it together for you. If you want to spend obtain information, I can give you, Cadence basically puts it all together of exactly what probably happened here as you go into your mind palace and kind of map out exactly what probably took place.
My mind palace, Eric, that's disrespectful. You almost just blew me up.
I know.
Are you Sherlock Holming's us?
What would you like to do?
Well, Sherlock Holming mine. Yes, because y'all, I can't put this together at all. I'm not heads or tails on it, so I need to.
You fought in the Dominion War, so you've seen stuff like this before, and you can already map together that at some point there was a drifting asteroid, that this ship was probably not trying to fly through an asteroid belt, but what likely happened is a mine which was close to one of these rogue asteroids activated when they came too close to it, as they were probably exiting the system. The mine drifted into the ship and detonated against the side of its hull, probably causing some significant damage. Significant enough that at least somebody decided to order all hands to escape pods. With only 6, you're not sure how many people got away or what the capacity of escape pods are. The escape pods then jettison. The ship continues forward, though. The damage must have been to the engine systems, or perhaps it just drifted. As it drifted into the asteroid field, it probably activated a second mine and took catastrophic damage to the side of the vessel, where it now just sits spinning slowly in space. The trail of plasma that you are detecting, however, is probably from the escape pods, because they're so old and they are not headed towards the asteroid belt. You see them trailing away from the area that you are in right now.
I'm going to follow the plasma brick road then.
All right. If you'd like to spend for more obtain information, otherwise it'll be a roll here in a second.
Follow the plasma brick road. Follow the plasma brick road.
I'm sorry?
What flavor of roll are you talking about? Another sensors roll?
It could be a sensors check. Anything you want to theorize, anything you want to try to use to try to locate or triangulate what happened to the escape pods. I'll let you pitch it to me.
That's something that I could do in an SAR flight pattern kind of thing.
Totally. You can put your expertise together. You've seen plenty of rescues of people in escape pods. They're also very close to this gas giant.
Yep. So I'd like to fly pattern to that effect. Then.
Okay.
How would you feel about control con to that effect?
Yes, I'll allow control con. Let's refer real quick to our new cheat sheet. So if you're using a control con roll here, detect a starship or other vessel through a difficult environment or operate a craft such as a precision. Yes, I would allow you to do a control con here.
Mm-hmm. All right, then.
To direct a starship or other vessel through a difficult terrain. In this case, yeah, I'd allow it. Because you're basically following a difficult trail.
What was the difficulty?
Following this plasma trail must set the difficulty at 3.
Okay. Will someone please roll under an 8?
I will do my darndest.
Hey, we got a nice little rotation happening.
I know. Everyone gets to roll.
There we go. That gets us to the magic number because
Rolled
I rolled focus. So that's a total of 3.
3 successes. You hit it.
Thank you very much. Couldn't have done it without you, Paragriffin.
Cadence, you flip off impulse as you begin to drift, and you're kind of trying to put together a flight pattern here. If these were old escape pods, it's likely they don't have any kind of real propulsion. They were more of just like lifeboats being shot into space, in which case you're just looking for any kind of evidence that they perhaps ended up in the upper atmosphere or maybe even in orbit of the gas giant. However, you see something ahead emerging out of the shadows of this gas giant. As you're following the path of this plasma, it's a moon. Not a space station, a moon.
I was about to say, that's
no
moon.
No, keep Star Wars out of here. When I award myself threat.
No! This is like when I was an egg. This is like when I was an eggplant. It just was an accident.
Which was, by the way, voted one of the most memorable moments of all the original Clear Skies campaigns.
I have a clip of it somewhere.
I believe you, Bonnie. Your sensors have this already on registry because this system has been explored. or it has at least been charted by long-range sensors. Tonyoto 4B, you detect in front of you, emerging from the shadows of this gas giant, a Class M world that is orbiting the gas giant. And the trail looks like it follows straight towards this moon.
Quick question from the Pride side.
Yeah.
We're watching through Cadence view, right?
I'm assuming that Cadence is operating essentially like sort of an intruder does for an aircraft carrier, which is a bit of a retired plane, but essentially eyes and ears, acting as basically like a radar plane, kind of keeping everything, feeding it back to the Pride. So you would actually have the ability to see what Cadence is seeing on their console right now, being fed into the Pride's sensors. I will say that the Pride is getting a lot of interference, though. It's coming through static. You're able to hear Cadence speaking, but for the most part, anything that's being fed back to the Pride is kind of staticked.
Griffin 2 to Pride, I have a Class M moon coming up on sensors here. It seems the way the escape pods might have gone, and maybe some kind of hint as to why this system is mined in the first place. I'd like to investigate further.
All right, just be careful and check in.
Hey, this is me checking.
All right, Cadence, before we hop over, this system is in Starfleet records. It has been at least detected on long-range sensors, so there is at least perhaps a database that could tell you what it is you are seeing.
Do I get access to that on a Griffin, or do I need to ask Grandpa Pride? Okay. Cool. What do I have on time?
It depends. It really just depends on how you do on the computer's roll.
Hey, Pride.
I didn't mean for you to check in that quickly, Commander.
Tonyoto 4B. It should be in record somewhere.
I'll give it a look. Please hold.
You're
welcome.
The assistant, the fill-in science officer, immediately punches that information in, and without having to make a roll, the information comes back. You're not having to exactly transmit this because the database on the USS Pride has it. Tonyoto 4B is an unexplored Class M world. It has been charted by long-range sensors. This system itself has not been fully explored by the Federation because of its typically worlds this close to the Romulan neutral zone. Federation would just prefer to stay out of it. This particular Class M world, though, however, has a pre-warp civilization living on it. Bronze Age. This is approximate Bronze Age. The console, as it detects this, an immediate flag that the Prime Directive is in effect. And it flags the planet.
Lieutenant Commander Cadence?
You
catch all that?
I sure did. Doesn't really sound like the kind of place we want an escape pod to land. Seems like it would raise all sorts of questions, sir.
We also don't want them seeing your fancy flying, so keep a low profile, please.
Bronze Age, so you don't have to worry about them unless you enter the sky and go pulling. unless you do some loop-de-loops in the sky. But yeah,
Captain feels compelled to warn me about may or may not have basis in historicity. So
as the commander is heading towards the front of the ship, I want real quick to take back into the scene where we have Lieutenant Zaria, and is it Baya? Is that correct?
Yeah, Baya like Maya.
Okay, cool. Ensign Baya, you are heading back into the engineering section, and there are bodies waiting for you back here. The temperature also dramatically jumps, but you can see, looks like there are fires back here in the engineering section. One of the doors, it looks like it's a single sliding door, is partially closed. You can see that it's somewhat open, but you can definitely catch the flickering firelight on the other side of it, as well as heat coming out of it. You also see in what looks like Boolean, an alert message popping up on a couple of consoles, flashing red.
Ooh. is this a ship type that like is this just like a generic freighter? Is
Yeah,
this
it's
like
just an
got...
old generic freighter, an
Okay, then
old civilian freighter.
I would like to maybe make the assumption that Baya would know where to look for extinguishers on deck, just like emergency extinguishers.
Easy enough. You see one of the people that's lying on the ground, still smoldering, is holding one.
Oh God! Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And she's gonna pull up and she's gonna start like putting out fires, just because we don't want fire by the
Yeah.
by the heavily explosive stuff on the ship. So she's just gonna start putting out fires just so that she has a little bit of a safe environment to take a look at everything.
Zarya, Zarya, without even rolling, you can tell that this was not done by any kind of weapon. It looks like this place probably suffered the brunt of the initial explosion from a mine.
Right. I'm scanning really quick just to make sure any of these bodies.
Scanning? Okay.
I want to make sure if there's any life signs.
Yeah. Roll me reason science.
Uh-huh.
And the difficulty is 1.
Oh, good. Okay. That's good. Reason science is a thing I do, not do a lot of. Hold on. There it is. Okay. 2 successes. Hey.
2 successes.
Yes.
Okay.
9 and 10.
So there are life signs on the ship. You're actually detecting a lot more clearer than Hatab was able to detect.
Right.
Your tricorder is giving you back that there are about 273 souls still on board this vessel that are alive, and most of them have moved towards the front of the vessel.
Okay. Specifically, are there any in this room that need medical attention?
No, there are no life signs in this room except for you and the ensign.
All right.
If you'd like to spend a point of momentum for obtain information, you may.
I would, if that's all right.
2 points?
All of
Okay.
you.
So you now have 1 point of information. The last thing you detect is the power fluctuation.
Okay.
The warp core is 4 minutes from a breach.
Okay. Oh,
the alarms that are flashing on the computer console are alerting that there is an antimatter containment breach. And that it is 4 minutes from collapsing. And when it does, it is going to destroy the ship and everything in close range.
All right. Ensign, get on that warp core.
Yes,
Captain, if you read, we have over 270 life forms on the ship. With a ship about to blow, we need to find a way to get all of these people off immediately.
And Captain, as you hear this coming through the static and interference of your security officer, a few of the officers on the bridge immediately look at each other worried, because they, like there's no way. There's absolutely no way you can beam 270 people off of this ship in 4 minutes. And that is where we are going to stop for our 10-minute break.
No! We don't have 10 minutes, Eric. We have 4.
We come back
What is wrong with you?
having everyone roll new characters.
TPK do the break.
Elisa's the only character who survives.
We will be back in 10 minutes. We'll see you then.
Everything.
Welcome back, everybody. Let's go ahead and jump back in right where we left off. Y'all are sitting on a bomb. This warp core looks like it is currently bleeding. Antimatter containment is getting ready to completely fail. The moment antimatter containment fails, there will be a breach and the ship will spectacularly explode. You have 4 minutes to get to work on this.
Okay.
And you've been given an order by your superior officer to immediately start. First of all, the console that you need to access is on the other side of the door that is partially closed right now.
Okay. And I'm guessing that it needs a little SOS, a little TLC to get it open, or am I able to...
you're probably going to need to either force it open, however you want to do it, but it's on the other side.
In my ensign expertise and how long I've been doing this, can I get a read on if it's going to be faster for us to brute force it, or do I think that enough power has been lost in here that like it's going to be faster brute force, or that I might actually be able to like mechanics it open?
Impossible to know if it's faster to brute force, as you haven't tried yet.
Fair enough.
You don't know how stuck it is.
Cool. Lieutenant, will you come help me, please?
Absolutely. This is out of my expertise. Tell me what to do.
We're just gonna push really hard. We're gonna try to. If I have extinguisher still. If
Uh-huh.
like I can use that to like try to wedge in or something, like or tools nearby or something. We're just gonna try to press and just see if I can like.
As soon as you try to wedge the extinguisher in, you begin to realize that it's not going to function very well as the wedge that you're hoping it would. It fits in between the doorway and whatnot, but it's not enough.
Okay.
You just need it to be wide enough that you can get through it.
Can I push it open and hold my body against it long enough for her to get through? Can we try that?
Assuming that it's going to snap back closed, you might just be able to push it open and leave it open, but you haven't tried yet.
Yeah, I want to
So
try
it really will depend on whether and how it reacts when you try to push this thing open.
I'm just gonna look at the incident on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, we're gonna try to press it.
All right, so who's taking the lead on this?
It's security.
On muscle things, me for
Yeah, okay.
Yes, please.
You fix the thing. I will.
Muscles
push the
rippling
thing.
underneath
Yeah,
that blue skin as
Yeah.
you just.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, you're immediately going to take both of you 1 point of stress
Oh,
Okay.
from
Yay, I love
the
stress.
both of you feel the sharp pinch of burning on your hands the moment you put it up against the metal door.
Oh,
as
this
you're
is already.
pushing it.
I'm already uncomfortable from the heat. This is.
But it's only just typically, this is me being kind of like a little bit fudging with the rules. Typically, when you're taking any kind of injury, you can decide to pass it on to stress, and I'm just giving you 1 point. But in this case, since you were all trying to force this door open, it is going to be a difficulty 3 check to get it done. This is going to be a fitness check. I'm going to say it is going to be a fitness. I would suggest, unless you've got something you would like to use, and you would like to suggest how you would like to try to wedge this open. Otherwise, Bonnie, if you were looking for guidance here, it typically doing anything kind of physical is a fitness check at some point.
Yeah.
And you'll see that in the cheat sheet that I provided, that doing things like.
Where's my cheat sheet go?
For example, if you did a fitness engineering check, would be to perform a physical, taxing, repetitive, arduous technical activity as effectively as possible despite the physical strain, and perform technical things that are relevant, that kind of thing. If you're trying to brute force it, that might be daring. Or that might be, I'll leave it to you. However you guys want to try to do it.
If I'm doing an assist roll, do I have to roll the same stats that the primary is rolling?
In fact, they encourage you not to. They encourage you to use a different set of stats.
Okay, I know how I'll assist if Bonnie, you need a second.
I think because of the time constraint, I would like to argue that I would be using daring and just not even thinking strategically of where to push this, but using just any amount of brute force. Yes, I know fitness would probably be the more.
No, improvising a technical solution to a problem by using technology in an unusual, innovative, or reckless manner.
Yeah, I would say I'm not worried about, the integrity of the door after we do it. I'm just going to full body slam.
You doing like a daring security, maybe?
Daring security was what I was hoping to do.
Hell yeah.
I mean, when it comes to,
Yeah.
You're trying to get me in a place, trying to get me where
I'm going. I would like to use my little special ability of intense to buy another die.
Okay. Ooh. I'm going to get another point of threat.
I'm trying to think of if I have any talents that's going to help me at this.
I'm used to hearing that. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. It looks like I left security off of this chart. The one thing you're trying to use, the department. That's totally fine, though.
We got that.
That's okay. Yeah.
Fitness security will totally work here if you want to do that.
Yeah. No, okay. I wanted to use daring security.
Oh, daring security? Yes.
Yes.
You could do, I would allow it. Daring?
Yeah, because we're
in a time crunch. That's what
time crunch. There's no time to think. There's no time to analyze the door, the structure, where to wedge.
We're just going.
Boom, like
that's
full
daring.
Body slam. No thought, just action. I gotta get this in through the door.
Because I'll tell you this, I was gonna pitch for daring engineering.
Daring engineering, I would.
I have. So here's the thing, because I have a focus called jury rigging. I would like to find something that has been blown off or blasted, or a tool that I can use to like shove in and like help wedge it open. Because I'm not necessarily strong, but I can like jury rig a fix. So that was going to be my pitch. Was
I
a
will
daring
wedge it
engineering.
I will
open
take
with
that as a
my.
pitch. I will. That's a great pitch. Yes,
Yeah.
So if I
totally.
can use
That's you
daring,
using
I
the
would-
environment. Yeah.
I would love it if my lieutenant could also use daring.
I will wedge my body. I will use my body as a wedge. I'm now the wedge. Call me a salad.
By the way, one of my all-time favorite characters in Star Wars, but we're not talking about Star Wars. Daring comes into play whenever the character reacts to a new situation without doubt, hesitation, or caution. It covers circumstances where characters take decisive action without detailed plan analysis and relies on gut instinct and quick reflexes, acting aggressively, responding to an emergency, attempting to evade or resist some kind of immediate danger. That's a good pitch.
This is pretty immediate, Eric.
What's that?
This is pretty immediate, if you know it's me.
Yeah.
It is pretty immediate. All right.
I didn't do any diagnostics. I just said, help me push. So we have 4 minutes. We're going in fast.
So then here's my compromise on this. Going to be kind of shoving this a little bit. If you're using daring security and you're just throwing yourself in there and shoving this back, I'm going to say that because you are doing it using your daring, Caitlin, your ensign is not going to take that stress. That stress, both of those points of stress are going to actually go to our chief of security.
I'm an Andorian. My hair's already gray. Stress me out. Let's
shoulder
go.
your whole body into it, basically pushing yourself up against this door and try to muscle it while our ensign is trying to use any kind of debris to sort of wedge it and get the door open. Go ahead and make your rolls. The difficulty on the door is 3.
Okay, I'm rolling.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I got 2.
2 successes. 2 successes.
You got 2 as well.
I rolled on my number because I have jury rigging as a focus and my engineering is 4. I rolled a 4, so it's a crit.
You gain a bonus. You gain a point of momentum as the two of you screeching, howling metal as you push this thing open, but it shoves back actually quite simply as the two of you leveraging that debris that you managed to just kind of pull it up a little bit off of its track, and your strength, Zarya, you just push on that thing and it goes slams back into its frame.
I would like to
heat just buffets all of you as it just comes wafting out of this engine room.
Oh, I hate this so much. I would like to use my talent because now that I know that I've succeeded, or maybe I don't know if I should have said this before. I would like to use the follow my lead talent, where it says whenever you succeed as a task during combat or another perilous situation, which I would consider this
counts.
You may spend determination when I succeed. So I'm spinning my determination now, and that way, if I do, I choose a single ally who can hear me, which I'm going to choose my little instant engineer right here. The next task that ally attempts, it counts as having assistance from me using my presence command. And on this task, I do not roll my assistance die. It counts as having already rolled a 1. So I'm using follow my lead. Ensign, get to that warp core, and using burning a determination and giving her an instant 1 success on an assistance roll.
Okay.
What determination are you using?
That's a great question.
I want to get in your business.
Wouldn't you like to know?
I really would.
Jesus. Let me look.
Okay.
A determination. Wait, is that the same as burning a value?
Yeah, you're basically spending your determination. So it's like burning a value. Okay. Which, by the way, I want to stress this again. Keep track of all these that you're spending, because this is how it's leveling, and like keeping track of that in your personal log is how you are going to strengthen your character, level them up as per se. All right. While you're looking for that, we are going to implement a brand new system in Star Trek Adventures 2nd Edition. This is called a challenge. Mm-hmm. What it is a challenge is a task that consists of 2 or more different kind of key tasks in order to accomplish something. It's a little like an extended task, but an extended task is a single activity and usually calls for you doing a single activity and trying to beat a certain number on the extended task scale. In this case, though, each task you are going to attempt is going to gateway whether or not how the next task goes. So you rush over to the console and immediately you see that indeed antimatter containment is being lost on this warp core, and it is in fact 4 minutes away from breaching. You are now in a challenge task. So
Okay.
here's how this goes.
Okay.
Each task that you are going to be given is 2 intervals long by default. You can spend momentum to reduce the time you took on that task, to reduce it by 1. Okay? Each interval is going to be 30 seconds.
Okay.
Which means 4 minutes means you have 6 intervals before this warp core blows up, killing everybody, including you and the away team.
Sick. Cool.
So,
Guys, this is my support character. Guys.
this is the support
I
character.
will just say, Eric, you have stressed me out so much. I have ripped off all of the fake glued nails from my fingers. They are my nails are so beautiful and blue, and now they are just ripped apart.
What you are seeing is what happens when a player is also awarded 2 points of stress damage.
Yeah.
Yes, this is my 2 points of stress. My nails
All right.
have now all fallen off.
Challenge number 1, stabilize the warp core by stabilizing the antimatter containment. Your task is control plus engineering with a difficulty of 2. However, this is a complicated task and by default is 3 intervals long.
Okay.
So
okay.
if you want to reduce it, if you ever want to reduce an interval, you can actually spend and reduce an interval by 1 for spending momentum.
We have an extra momentum because I used my intense.
I was gonna say I would love. I feel like okay, maybe on the first one because I'm gonna get an automatic success.
Which is great.
An automatic crit. It's an automatic 1.
So here's what's awesome. Here's what's awesome about that. If you automatically succeed, then it means first of all you have to succeed to be able to spend the momentum in the first place to reduce that. So since you're going to auto succeed on this because it's treated like you're rolling a 1, it means you're automatically hitting the difficulty of 2.
Yeah. So if I roll other successes, we'll be boosting our momentum, which I could use to shorten tasks moving forward, which is what I was thinking. Right. Yes.
However, you can only do it once. You can only reduce it's not repeatable. So you can only spend 2 momentum to reduce the interval by 1.
Okay.
I feel like we should just do it off the top. Get ourselves a head start.
At least as long as we can get something stabilized, we might be able to buy ourselves more time to fix the other intervals. Correct?
A minute. Okay. Spending a momentum to reduce the interval. And then I'm going
to momentum.
It's 2 momentum? Do we have 2 momentum?
We do have 2 because I just got us. We had 1, I think.
We had 1. I have 2.
And I have 1 because I used intense.
Okay.
We have intense trait.
Yes. Okay. So I'm gonna knock this down and then hopefully build us back up again.
By the way, the value I'm burning is battles in life are like a dance. Take the lead.
Ooh.
And so that was me. That was me taking the lead.
I like it.
And this is a battle in life. We're battling for our lives.
Okay.
Kenson, back to the warp core.
Captain, it's also worth noting, Captain, you are apprised of the situation. You do have access to comms right now, so you're aware that this is going on.
I was just about to ask because there's an action I would like to take if I could.
Okay.
I'd like to take the rally action. You inspire and coordinate the crew, attempting a presence and command task with a difficulty of 0. This task is specifically to generate momentum, either to use immediately or save for the group.
Nice.
I'll allow it if you role play that out. Yes.
Okay, so it's just I'm sorry, I'm still learning everyone's name. It's Ensign
Ensign Bionel.
No time for this, Captain. What do you need to say?
I'm like already scrambling with stuff. Like,
all right. So we're just ejecting a warp core. That's standard. You've done it in Academy all the time. So don't worry. Step by step. What I'm going to need you to do, though, is he's just going to break down the plan of ejecting it with the intention of having the Pride transported further away from the ship that they're on and the Pride. So it's just...
I don't think
Ensign, I'll tell you right now, as an engineer, Engineering 101, you cannot beam a warp core. It is a tube filled with antimatter. You would destroy your ship and whatever was being beamed off of. If
Also-
you were capable of doing, you would require using one of the industrial transporters in the main cargo bay, and if one's about to breach, it'll likely cause an antimatter spill and cause a complete destruction. Whatever you're trying to do, it's definitely don't try it.
We can't do it that way. Are tractor beams available? Is that a feasible alternative?
It is, but as an engineer, I'll tell you, it really just depends on the structural integrity of the ship.
Okay.
Because the tractor beam is a great way to move things around, but if the ship is on the verge of breaking up, you might actually accidentally end up crushing the ship like a tin can with a tractor beam.
Captain, maybe let me try to stabilize it first, and then we can go from there. Because if it's pretty volatile right now, but I'll keep you posted.
All right. Yeah, he's just gonna be in the ear, comforting, just kind of playing coach.
Yeah, I'm giving you nervous instance. You can talk me down.
So then what I would say, go ahead and you make rolls to get automatic momentum. Is that correct? You make a roll here?
Yeah, presence and command with a difficulty of 0 to
go ahead and roll it.
Generate momentum.
And see how many successes you get.
Yes, and I was hoping that I could use a focus as well.
What's the focus?
Which is going to be inspiration.
Yes.
I do love the idea of the captain saying incorrect things to this ensign to get her to focus, because she can tell you that, like, wait, we can't do that, and it, like,
what? I
like,
can't transport a warp core?
Yeah, because honestly, it's taking you out of anxiety and activating your analytical mind.
Exactly,
and you're going into the textbook of an engineer right now.
Yeah, like calming her down to like make her like think about things. She knows this, and you're making her like pull on the knowledge she has.
Right,
All right.
right.
That is a 3 and a 4, which are both crits.
Both crits.
So that's
4
gonna
momentum.
be 4 momentum.
Generating 4 momentum for the group.
Perfect.
1, 2, 3, 4.
You sure we can't transport that warp core?
Yep. That's a hard no from the GM unless you want to blow.
Oh no! That's just him teasing
Oh.
teasing the insect.
No, Captain,
This is Eric throwing back to when I didn't tell Hector, no, you can beam through shields. No, you can't transport a warp. All right. So you've already got the success. You're already auto successing on the first task.
So we're spending the 2 momentum, which put us down to 0. We just got our 4. We're spending the 2 momentum to reduce the time it takes. And then I'm going to roll what was my attribute department?
It's a control plus engineering, difficulty 2. But you don't have to roll because you're auto succeeding, aren't you? Because of the determination spend.
But I could get momentum.
Yes. You can absolutely do that to gain momentum. Yes.
Complications too.
Say again?
Sam is reminding you that you can also Sam is reminding you can also roll a 20.
That's true. That's also delightful.
Fun.
Let's see what happens. It'll be exciting.
I'm out of range. Doesn't bother me.
No, Sam's the only one that survives this.
Hey, I started on top of a mine here, so you know what? Shoes on the other foot.
Quick question: am I doing anything outside of like regular? I have jury rigging. Am I doing anything outside of standard procedure here?
You would have to tell me how you were using jury rigging here.
Okay, I think I just don't know enough about the situation. So if it's if it's blasted to hell, I guess you would have to get a little bit craftier. But
I could tell you this. One of the things that Star Trek Adventure 2nd Edition does is if you ever fall into a position where it feels like it could be feasible, but you don't know exactly how to describe what it is you're doing, may I invite you, Caitlin, to turn to page 266. In the core book PDF, where you will find a lovely technobabble generator.
I love your technobabble generator.
Oh. If you would like to say jury rigging and trying to find loopholes and just like quick patch jobs to get this done, can I use the jury rigging focus? And I say role play it. Throw the technobabble generator at me.
Oh my
That's
God.
what I'm about
and
to
I'll let you do it.
I know.
I will 100% let you do it. Technobabble and medical babble tables are great ways to come up with ways to come to combat or even generate traits during scenes. If you're trying to like how would my genius Starfleet character pull this off? Because I, as a player, I'm not sure how this would work. You could be like, I'm going to go to the technobabble generator. I'm going to pitch this focus and let's go. We're going to
so
crap at it. So go ahead.
I think she's like has now the captain in her ear who's been trying to like calm her down a little bit, and so she's trying to like relay what she's seeing and also working through it, and is like, okay. So if we're trying to cool it down because everything's gonna overflow, if we can reroute the everything, if we can bypass the thermal coils, maybe we can start cooling it down, and I'll have a little bit more time. And she's gonna start like decoupling things and kind of bypassing an entire system, and then trying to like let that give her
it's an old enough time. It's an old enough ship. It's using pieces and parts that are not being made anymore. So you're literally just. I will let you use your jury rig focus to try to stabilize the antimatter containment field, which is
setting up
terribly.
The longest roll of all time. Here we go.
I have no idea what you're doing, but I have extra hands. Tell me what to do, and I've got you.
Okay, well, I got 2 successes, so that gets.
Never mind. I'll stand over here.
Okay.
What was the difficulty number?
The difficulty was 2, so you're going to you're going to hit it right on the nail. Yeah, you're not going to get it. You're not going to generate any.
I have 4. Oh, 4
total.
Because I have two from my bonus from my boost, and then I rolled 2, so 4 total.
So that should max you guys out on momentum, I believe.
What is max 6?
It's max of 6.
Correct. Then yes. So there we go. We're maxed out.
All right, so that's 2 intervals.
Okay.
So 1 minute. As sweat begins to just curtain all over your brow as you are working as quickly as possible. And sorry, everybody
I've taken my jacket off and wrapped it around my waist. I have not kept my jacket on. I'm in like action Janeway.
And just like Janeway in Year of Hell, you are soaked through because right now it is warm in here. It is so hot.
It's fine. It's like a workout. Let's go.
You just see the ensign hands just going out, just reaching inside the guts of this machine, is going back in and like placing things. You can hear hissing and screeching of metal as things are kind of groaning in protest, and then a clicking sound. You see some of the power system starts to fluctuate a little bit. This is going to take us to stage 2.
Okay.
Stage
how
2
is the spending the 2 momentum to go faster, did it removed one of the 3 that one was going to take?
Correct.
Is that correct?
That took 2 intervals to do. So it took a full minute to do what you just did.
Awesome.
The next part is rerouting the power to life support and taking the core off, or I'm sorry, that's the 3rd step. The 2nd step is boosting the emergency interface regulators to ensure that the containment does not drop again. So while this is happening, though, before you roll, up at the front of the ship, the commander and the doctor in tow managed to step through wreckage where you can see on the other side of one of these walkways, Doctor, you can see space and a pathetic, what looks like a quite pathetic failing integrity field, keeping this place and everybody inside it from being jettisoned into deep space. You can see this force field just kind of struggling to stay on, meaning it's dependent on what's happening back in the engine room. You cannot reach everybody from here because there's too much wreckage in the way. The commander stops and just says, "Oh no." Looks back at you, looks back and taps on her communicator and says, "Pride, we might need a site-to-site transport. There doesn't look like there's any way past this wreckage in the corridor. It's burning hot and we don't have enough tools to get through it."
Nothing but good news today. All right. Gonna give the order to Zoe to help with the site-to-site transport.
Okay. With Zoe, who is currently down in transporter room 1, just goes, Aye, sir. Okay, I've done this before. This was the gerbil on graduation day.
Yeah, you have done this before, and comms are still open. Don't worry, I made that mistake too.
All right, so Zoe is going to make a roll, and whoever wants to roll for the assist for the Pride, this is going to be
Sam should take lead on that.
Whoever would like to roll it.
Caitlin and I are busy.
Computer's engineering for transporters, isn't it?
And no. This is actually going to be computer structure.
Okay.
If I remember correctly. System covers physical construct.
Computers and structure are both systems.
Oh, you're right. Let's see. Life support, thermal aspect, life support systems, artificial gravity. Never mind. Yeah, no, you're right. It could do. I could see computers here too. Any task,
just what I
attempting to
remembered.
receive, analyzing information, creating a simulation. Oh, com specific generate block gems. Oh, hold on one sec. This location. Attempting to reinforce life or condition engaging in an activity, maintaining a ship integrity is vital. I actually don't know. In the old system, using the transporter, they may have actually just kind of removed it and decided that it's a trait that which makes sense. Let me double check here real quick. Create theoretical, create force fields of team.
Got it.
Threat.
Page
You got it?
190. Transporter room rules, page 190.
Oh, excellent. 190.
Control engineering, difficulty 0 typically, but for site to site,
It goes up.
difficulty
Yeah.
2,
Okay.
Assisted by sensor science these days.
Okay,
All right.
cool. Perfect. That makes sense. All right, cool.
Here.
All right. Go ahead and make the roll.
All right, I will roll Pride.
That's 2 successes from her.
Happy Pride.
All right. All right, Doctor. You and the commander standing in front. You guys stand in position, and all of a sudden, you see this blue curtain of energy. And a few moments later, you rematerialize on the other side to what looks like a crowd of panicked people, all jammed towards the front of the ship in what looks like a galley that's not designed to hold the amount of people that are up here. People are spilled into the hallways. There are civilians here. You see there are children, there are families. You see a couple of people that are trying their best to keep some wall consoles. Other people, they're trying to keep wall consoles from exploding. There's a couple of people putting out fires. And you see a Bolian who looks like the authority figure based off the jacket he's wearing and the orders he's throwing out, makes eye contact with you across this large space. The commander immediately raises her hand and he comes rushing over to you guys, kind of gently pushing his way through some of the people that are in his way. And he runs up and says, "Oh my God, Starfleet. I have no idea what's going on. I lost communications with the engineering room. Please tell me you have a ship nearby." The commander is just like, "We do, but we need to get as many people out of here as we possibly can. We're going to start transporting right away, but we're about 4 minutes away from a warp core breach." And the Bolian's eyes widen. She says, "What's your name?" Ready for a name, everybody?
Yeah, and I'm sure it's gonna be a good one too. No, I'm just kidding. I've got a name.
It's gonna be a terrible one, actually.
This is Captain Wessot.
Ooh, that is a good name.
Wessot.
I remember we got that. Yeah, Captain Wessot with the carry. Okay, yeah. Sorry. Why am I talking? I'll mute myself.
All right. He tells you in a panicked tone that life support has been failing and that some people have lost consciousness and there are injured people here. He's got 6 injured people that are in big trouble. And if you have anybody here, they should be beamed over first. And she says, "Understood." Taps on the communicator and says, "Pride, we've got 6 to beam immediately to sickbay. Show me where they are. Doctor, can you help?"
Of course. Sorry, I lost my voice. It's just gonna go over to the injured and start treating.
Okay. To do a treatment for an injury.
Mm-hmm.
Doc, you squat down next to, it looks like a human male, probably in his mid-40s. Looks like he's sustained some kind of burn all over the left side of his body. You are going to have to make a quick roll here to get the burn severity. It looks like I'll say the burn severity is 1. So he's got a trait. So in this case, you may provide help defeated or injured allies. The first aid action, which allows you to attempt a daring plus medicine task with a difficulty of 2 to tend to another character within reach. If you complete the task, the patient is no longer defeated. Alternatively, you may use daring plus medicine task with a difficulty equal to the injury severity to treat an injury and the patient has suffered. The burn, he's defeated right now, which means he is just down. And when you're defeated, it means you die at the end of the scene if you're not helped. In this case, the burn is probably something to work on next. But stabilizing him is the first thing to do. So this is going to be a daring plus medicine check with a difficulty of 2.
All right.
You are going to, I believe, with gear, you're going to be able to use a hypo here or some such to lower that difficulty by 1. But let me double check.
Looking for that.
Yeah, so I'm on the gear section right now. Medical devices, monitoring device, anabolic dermal regenerator kits, connective tissue, emergency surgical kit, opportunity 1. Don't worry about that because I gave it to you. Complex trained physician means you can perform a complex surgical procedure. You don't have time for that. Hypospray. Provide efficient means to deliver drugs that would otherwise have been given to a hypodermic needle. Okay, cool. So then what we will say here is it looks like it's just something that you have that allows you to make certain choices in the narrative. So if you have a hypospray, we can say you can give him the hypospray, but it doesn't actually affect the difficulty costs. So you're going to have to spend momentum for this. If you want to gain any... Oh, but you can't because you are not a support character. So you are just making a flat roll here.
Yep. No stress. I'm fine.
Yep.
This is great.
Yep.
Real good 27, Captain, Dr. Captain.
Yep.
All right, here we go. All right. I have to
These
roll
two.
under 13.
Okay, that's good.
That is a 5 and an 11. So
Okay. You are going to stabilize him. He is no longer defeated. He is now he's suffering from burn 2. He has been stabilized. You immediately put in the hypo spray and start running a scan on him immediately. You hear him going as the circulatory system is barely, like he is on death's door. But as the medicine is being delivered into his system, you deliver basically the enough adrenaline to keep his heart going. He's safe enough to transport right now directly to sickbay. And working with the commander, the 2 of you are going to have to do that, but she nods and goes, "Good work, doctor." Administering the hypospray was easy enough, but now you're basically kind of monitoring his vitals and making sure that he doesn't flatline. As this is happening, though, while all this is happening in the front, rerouting power to life support. Reroute remaining power to life support, and that's going to be the third one. It's because this is not scrolling properly. So task number 2, you're boosting emergency interface regulator. So this is going to be, because you succeeded on the last roll, you get to choose.
Oh gosh, okay.
Daring plus control or control plus engineering. You get to pick.
Wait, daring and
During
daring engineering or control engineering, you get to pick.
they're the same roll, so
Okay.
I will take daring because we're doing stuff fast.
All right.
Can I buy a die with
Yes,
our
absolutely.
extra
Spend a momentum.
I would like to do so.
Okay, so you're now down to 5 momentum.
Am I allowed to do that as a support character?
Yes.
Okay.
Support characters, I believe, can spend momentum, and you even get a value. You can call upon 1 value.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, so we're trying to hit.
You have a badass support character. I'm impressed.
Does the jury rigging carry over, or would I need to reestablish that? Jury rigging as a focus.
I would encourage you to find something else to find a focus in. You jury
That's
rig.
true. I don't have
stabilizing-
anything. I don't
Okay.
have anything extra. No, I have transporters and replicators and Jeffrey's tubes. So it's
Okay, difficulty is 2, and this is going to take 2 intervals. Right now, you're
Okay.
at 2, so this will be 4.
Mhm. That's 4. I rolled a 1, a 7, and a 13. I needed a 14.
Okay.
So that's a crit, and 2 successes.
Okie dokie. So that'll max you
Hell
out. You have
yeah.
bonus momentum that you have to spend immediately. I'm guessing you're going to reduce the interval by 1.
I would love to do so.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So that takes you 30 seconds to do.
Is the difficulty? Oh yeah, it's 2 to spend to do that.
Mhm.
Am I allowed to do that? You said I could only do that once.
For what?
to spend to reduce intervals?
That's correct. You can only reduce an interval one time, but not
what-
it. But it's per challenge.
Per challenge. Got it. Okay.
So you can do it again here.
I would like to do so.
Yeah,
Yay.
but you can't. It's every time you roll, you can spend the 2 momentum in order to do that.
Okay, I do that.
Okay, so that is going to, with 30 seconds, you immediately boost that containment field. You boost the emergency interface regulator, and you see it go green on the console. When that happens, the final stage. Rerouting power to life support, which will buy you all the time you guys need to get everybody off of here, and shutting the damn core down, which will stop this chain reaction from taking place. So for this, it is another control engineering check. However, I'm spending threat.
Of course. Lovely. Oh, can I spend a momentum for another die?
You can.
I would like to do
You can if you would like
Can
to
I
do so.
assist in any way?
Yeah,
I'm just standing here watching them going like, good Lord.
If you can come up with a way to assist, but it has to be in a way you've not assisted before.
Right.
So with that, I'm going to spend 2 threat to add a complication to the scene.
Okay.
Oh no.
Can I give Bonnie a way to assist, or was that
As out above board, you guys can absolutely work together to come up with solutions for each other.
I was just gonna have Incinel like shout that there's something across the room that she needed, or something like a coupling that's like too far away for her to reach, and she's holding some things together, and like have the lieutenant bring it over for her. I don't know if that's gonna.
So
do
here's
anything.
what happens. I spent 2 threat to add a complication, which means as you are finishing getting that power rerouted and you're getting ready to shut the warp core offline, your jury rig breaks. And there's a hissing sound as some of the power begins to slide out of it. I'm going to raise the difficulty of this final task by 1.
Okay.
But now there is also going to be a there is also going to be consequences if this doesn't work out. So
All right. Okay. Well. Okay. Maybe.
difficulty is 3 for this roll.
Lieutenant, extra hands. I need some extra hands. And these two. Hold these two together for me. Hold these two together
Yes,
for me.
absolutely. Just keep telling me what to do. I'm
yes,
holding.
yes,
I'm
yes.
holding.
Okay. Very still. Thank you. Hold very still. And then okay. I'm gonna. I don't know if that's enough to give me an assist roll, but I'm gonna make my roll.
It's enough. How would so if you're basically holding something together.
She's holding
Then
it still for me. Yeah.
Holding it
It's a
still.
jury-
Then I imagine that's going to be some kind of fitness check.
Yes.
Or actually, this would be if you're trying to hold something still, it's a control check.
Oh, lovely. I love
If you're
that
trying to
even
hold,
better.
if you're trying to do anything finite, if you're trying to keep anything like in place,
Yes.
that is a control check.
Control. Control.
For you, this might
engineering?
actually be control engineering.
Oh boy.
Yep. Hold this still. Don't move it.
Sorry.
And 2 pipes are
Alright.
basically you're connected to it. So make a control engineering check
Keep
and
the
go
jury
ahead.
rig together long enough.
Aya, go ahead and make your roll.
Ooh.
Okay.
You got 1 barely from me. I rolled like on the number.
What was our difficulty?
3.
We got 3.
You
Oh!
got 3.
I rolled 2 successes. A 10 and
Okay.
a 12.
I barely rolled 1. Yeah.
All right.
Engineering is not my forte. I'm in
No.
awe of you. But holding
So-
things still I can do.
Yes.
I'm in control.
Okay, so that was
Holding.
with 1 interval to spare
This is insane. All right.
because you didn't roll any bonus momentum on that one.
Nope.
Um,
Nope. I sure didn't.
With literally 30 seconds to a warp core breach. You hear the computer and Bolian start alerting the crew, warning, 30 seconds to containment
No,
breach.
No,
You immediately reestablish the power and you see it go into the green and you initiate warp shutdown. You see the blue glow from the warp core start to immediately powering down as it enters the first stage of protocol, step 1 of 2, as it begins to shut down. Containment is reestablished. The ship is saved. Life support activates. And the moment it does, the environmental controls immediately start the entire interior begins to be oxygenated. And at the same time, environmental controls sputter out repellents. And you see fires going as the oxygen, just as the oxygenation starts to kick in, the repellents immediately extinguish the flames. Doc, as you're having these conversations at the front of the ship with the commander, you all hear the alert that the warp core is 30 seconds away from blowing. Captain, you're on the bridge getting ready to tell your away team to beam out of there when all of a sudden sensors detect that the ship powers down and life support stabilizes. Bullying Captain just looking around, just going, are we okay?
I'd call the captain.
Have your comms?
Captain, thanks to the quick thinking of Ensign Nell, the warp core has been shut down and the crisis has been averted. I suggest commending them on their records, and I shall be talking to their supervisor as well. Because I've never seen an engineering feat that impressive in quite a while.
Thank you, Lieutenant. I need to sit down, and she's gonna like a crate nearby, just like plop onto it.
You plop onto it. Above you is this
permission to sit
column of technology that was beaming with all of this blue energy is now going into dark mode. Just as you see, it goes from a glowing column of antimatter into a single pulsing light in standby mode.
Yeah. And I was like, I too also need to sit. And then I sit down and like start wiping my sweat and like standing next to a vent.
Yeah, as air starts to flow in through here.
Yeah.
I turned the environmental controls a little bit colder in here than they were set to before.
Okay.
Just to cool it down just a little.
Okay. So, as that all wraps up, on the other side of the asteroid belt is a Peregrine fighter that has been creeping along very deliberately, tracking this weak plasma trail of 6 escape pods that are heading in this direction. Commander Cadence, you are definitely seeing on your sensors as the computer is showing you a possible trajectories, and you see this arcing line following the different variable trajectories of each and every escape pod. And as the computer runs the calculations, every single line has the gravitational pull of the moon coupled with the gravitational pull of the gas giant, pulling every single escape pod directly into contact with Tanyoto 4B, into the moon. As you start approaching the upper atmosphere of the planet and head into a high orbit, you can see it is a beautiful, rich world filled with, it has 4 continents. Many of them are roughly the same size, I would say, as the South American continent, except for the farthest continent away from the others looks like it's maybe about the size of Australia. Lots of water, lots of different your sensors not giving you high definition readings. Biodiversity, what you are detecting is the telltale signs of many communities down there. It would be probably the equivalent of what it would be like if a starship entered orbit above Earth during the 1300s. Or no, this would be the 300s and probably detected the various empires and such that have cropped up over the many years. You are detecting various signs of civilization in various states of evolving. And it looks like all 6 of those pods went down on the continent on the farthest side near one of these population centers, probably about 40 kilometers away from one of the cities.
Oh, good. All right. Well,
it's difficult to get an accurate reading from here. You can certainly make a science check to see if you can get any more information, but once those escape pods hit the atmosphere, it's very difficult to find out how far apart they are. The search area starts about 40 kilometers away from the nearest city. If they are still functioning, they might have transponders.
all right. I'll see if I can raise any communications.
Okay. In which case, that's communications. That is a comms check.
It sure is.
What would you like to use?
So interestingly, historically, you have called that a con check in other circumstances, operating ship controls.
Comms and con, you said?
Yeah, comms con for Paragriffin, but presumably control con for me. You could say computers. No, communications definitely. Yeah, comms con and control con. Do we like that?
Control com.
So comms and con or engineering for the ship, and then.
Oh, I see.
I mean, I'm
That
using
would probably
communications. If we're going to make me make a roll, again, just historically we'd gone con, but I'm flexible. You know that about me.
In this case, I would say
I'm not really engineering anything either.
yeah, it's con communications to relay plotted course, detailed astromagic data to another ship, either in advance. In this case, you're trying to establish contact with a possible transponder. So this would be con communications. Yes.
Okay.
The difficulty of this is going to be 4.
I see.
Because guess what that planet is also made out of? Guess what prominent mineral is also found not only in that asteroid belts?
All right. I would like to use the directive from my captain to find those escape pods then.
Okay, that's calling upon a directive. So you're using your value here.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So I will auto crit out of that. That's the primary resource for that. I'd like to take a point of momentum for extra die because bless, but unless someone feels like rolling under a 6 for my Paragriffin, and please do feel free to.
I will try. I will try my hardest.
Do the
I'm going to
thing.
need all of these. Let me just double check. I don't look. I'm
2 successes from the
No,
Griffin.
I rolled a 2.
Okay.
I rolled under
Rolled a
6
2.
for you.
So your Peregrine is going to help you if you can help yourself.
wow. Well, okay, so that was overkill then.
Oh.
1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6 from my auto crit, and then 7 from the Paragriffin. That was because I had an extra die. I rolled oh no, I didn't roll a focus, so it'd only be 6 successes. It's
6
only,
successes.
Only
Okay.
6 successes.
That still puts you in contention. That still puts you at like the lower spectrum of contention for the most amount of successes ever rolled in STA.
I'm sure someone's rolled an 8 or something, and plus
We've
determination.
hit that high, but it
and
still
that counts
puts you.
against the number of dice, so I'll need to have taken 2 momentum for that. Just for
Okay. So what you detect is indeed, it looks like there is at least one transponder functioning. And it is the one that is detected about 40 kilometers away from the city. It does look like the pod has power to it as well. And your sensors are detecting that there are life forms around the pod. So raising them on comms is not going to be a problem at all. However, you are not going to be able to raise the others on comms because it doesn't seem like they're functioning. You have a ton of bonus momentum.
And what was the difficulty on that one?
It was 4.
4.
4. So we had 2 bonus momentum then.
Yeah.
We're back up to max, so you can spend those 2 for whatever. Yeah.
That'll fill back in because it did cost me 2 because I forgot determination counts against the number of dice you bought, so the extra die I bought was more expensive.
Yep.
By Graftar's hammer though. What a savings.
It's early in the STA edition, 2nd edition. So if you want to ask any advice or any help or get any kind of like...
Is there something you think I should know, Eric?
Well, the one thing I've noticed that we haven't done yet is you guys haven't really done anything about traits. And one of the things...
I haven't seen one that I wanted. I considered it from time to time. It wasn't really...
Okay, that's cool. Just so long as you know.
No, it
But-
has been in my awareness, I assure
Yeah.
you.
Because you can engage with traits to try to get rid of them, get around them, to try to science your way past them, to make things a little easier. In this case, the entire scene has a sensor interference trait of 2. And going through the asteroid field at the point where the ship is an increased of +1. So it's kind of wreaking havoc with everything. It's one of the reasons why the difficulty was 4 this time around.
I see.
I'll
What-
be perfectly honest, I don't assume that I'm going to make sensor rolls in the first place, so they
Sure.
could be difficulty 1, they could be difficulty 1,000,000, and it's immaterial to me, and the reverse for flying. Hubris there. So in
Sure.
neither case did I end up creating a trait. We were just a little too swingy.
Okay.
But at this point, I've taken, to use a scientific term, heliscans,
Okay.
which means that I have a very strong data set for the mineral composition of this system.
Yes.
I also know the composition of a Starfleet escape pod.
Well, it's not a Starfleet escape pod. Remember, these are civilian escape
A
pods.
Federation. Nonetheless, it's going to be made out of different stuff than the rest of the planet.
It absolutely is, yes. It
So in terms
absolutely
of
will.
locating the other ones, that seems like a good use. Perhaps even a trait create.
Okay.
Identified spectral signature.
Okay.
So for the purposes of identifying the pods, it would negate the trait. For other sorts of scans, it would not.
All right. In which case, for finding the pods, you're no longer going to be, because so to buy off this trait, you can burn the momentum here. And
Yeah, that's it.
essentially what you do then is by removing this trait, your scans, Cadence, your scans indicate that this entire system is rich in a strange, looks like a variant mineral of magnesite, which is a mineral that the Federation knows traditionally has been interfering with transporters and sensors. It always does. This one is highly concentrated. It's a little different than anything on Starfleet records, and it could just be because of the density of the mineral itself as located in this system. But this planet itself is heavy in magnesite deposits. Looks like it's causing a lot of problems because beaming these people off the planet probably is not going to be an option from what you're getting. The magnesite down here is so intense around these, especially around the centers of civilization, that you're starting to get the sense that perhaps they actually use it, maybe even in their construction. However, it does indeed create a contrast in the sensor scans. You're essentially able to see the dark spots where the magnesite is not. Honing in on that, you're able to get an idea of where these escape pods are. There are 6 total, and blessedly, 5 of them are all within a couple of kilometers of each other. The 6th one, however, looks like it strayed and crashed down about 300 kilometers from the others. What's worse is, if scans are to be believed, that one is crashed down into what looks like some kind of canyon or rock face. So wherever they landed was not a soft landing. It also looks like the magnesite is particularly intense in that area. Like the rock faces are probably concentrated with it. And the last piece of information to give you is, for some reason in that area, sensors are going haywire with life form readings. It's detecting, sensors are essentially bringing you back a blob of life form readings. It cannot define any of them in particular, just that it's detecting biosigns over a large area to which that final escape pod is near.
Good. All right. No big deal. Just don't break the Prime Directive. This will be fine.
By the way, everybody,
Griff-
as a quick reminder, the Prime Directive is in effect right now, as it always is. It is a value you can call on. It is a directive that you guys can pull on if you can't think of any other values you've got. Of course, most of you have already spent your value for the session, but just putting it
I
out
have the
there.
veteran talent.
That is
I
true.
could get it back conceivably.
You could
Hey,
conceivably
you know
get it
what?
back. Yeah.
I did. Whoa. Hey.
You
I
got
rolled
it
a
back.
6. You roll a d6 on a
Has
5 or
that
6,
ever
you get it
happened?
back.
Wait,
Yes, a few times on Rue.
Wait. You've got the veteran talent and you roll, what is it?
So you roll a d6 1/3 chance that it restores.
Is that in Star Trek 2nd edition?
Veteran talent as such certainly is.
Because I know
we can double check the
the
mechanic
reason
here
why is
if you're
because I
feeling
know
it.
there are no D6s.
Because there are very few d6s. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say double check that. But either way, I'll give it to you because, yeah. Either way, because you
happy to
rolled
do
it on a
so.
D6.
Also-
We'll tip our hat to the old days.
Let's worry about it when
Sure.
I need to use it and not before.
All
Any
right.
luck, all I have to be doing is flying.
So here's what I'll give you right now. For the remainder of the scene, you guys can undergo rescue efforts that no longer require immediate action or death to all. The USS Pride is going to be able to get in close because there are no further mine threats in the area, and to be able to slowly evacuate everybody from the transport. So I'm going to say an hour later then. And we will decide, I'm guessing you're coming back to the Pride at that point with the data that you've got, or what were you planning on doing, Cadence?
Oh,
in this hour time elapse? Because
was I planning that?
because you don't
if
have
nothing
the
else,
capacity. You don't have the capacity.
I know I don't have the
Yeah.
capacity. But I need to get eyes on all of them first, and if nothing else, I need to get in touch with the one that might have functional communications.
Okay.
One does. There were several.
Let's do that
life
first then.
signs grouped around those. So
static.
Griffin to Calican escape pod.
A few moments pass. The static comes through, and then you hear, "Hello? I'm sorry. Is somebody there? Did the transmission just go? Hello?
Hello. This is Commander Cadence of the USS Pride. I think you might be in need of some thrilling heroics."
You can hear in the background as the mic is picking up through the gate the laughter and somebody cheering. And you hear, "Oh, Commander, you're the sweetest voice I've heard in a while. We've managed to start rounding up everybody from the other escape pods that crashed a few kilometers from here. So we've got just about everyone in one spot, and we're laying low right now. We've already had would you say a brief encounter. No one was spotted, but we did notice that there are people on this planet. We're laying low right now, but we think they might be coming back."
All right. Have you been able to get in touch with... I have some signs of a pod 300 clicks from your location.
Oh my gosh, they found the other pod. Copy that, Commander.
How does it know then?
No, we haven't been able to raise anybody on the other pod.
All right. You all sit tight, camouflage as you need. I'm going to report to my ship, and I'm going to try to take a look, see if I can find what's going on with that pod. Do not engage with the local folks. You know the Prime Directive rules. We're going to get you out of here.
Copy that, Commander.
All right.
Commander, just so you know, the people that were all put into the escape pods were the people who needed to have a fighting chance with the escape pods. We're not going to be able to get away from anybody if these people find us down here, and there's a lot of them. So I guess hurry.
Don't worry. You're talking to a real fast flyer.
Copy that, Commander.
All right. Be back in a bit. Cadence out.
Flip and burn.
I should probably report Griffin 2 to Big Bird.
Big Bird in. What's the word?
A few of the Ox crew on the bridge just try to remain professional and not laugh. You see a couple of people at the life support stations just looking at each other. A couple of the Ox crew just kind of keeping it together.
I'm going to be sending back my flight path. It's the best chance for any of the rest of my Griffins to get on through the minefield. I've located most of the escape pods. There's one that has a whole mess of biosigns that I need to figure out before we move in on it. But frankly, I just need more space to try to get anything like this out. I've got the coordinates of the rest of the rescuees. They're going to require some medical assistance, sounds like. So if you can scramble at least a couple more. I don't want to bring you in through that minefield. Nothing to whoever it is you have on helm. Just, you're baked. You'll go explode.
Helm officer immediately swivels, and the Ox crew member looks at you and says, Captain, I could, when we're done with rescue efforts, I can certainly navigate us around the minefield and the asteroid belt, now that we don't have to fly into it to rescue anybody.
Sounds like a plan. Let's get us closer. No offense, Commander, but I feel a little bit better if we were handling this with you.
Oh, hey, your hull breach, not mine.
All right.
Find out why the system was mined, Captain?
Not just yet, but we'll be looking into it. Our number one priority was rescue. Second priority, or the number one priority now, is making sure we don't break the Prime Directive. It would look terrible on my first day.
Well, don't get too close. They might see something in the sky. I'm going out after that final escape pod. Griffin 2 out. Mew.
God, it doesn't have to be Big Bird. It could be something else. I saw you all laughing.
Pretty sure they were laughing at the word, because bird is the word. I'm done.
I think you'll find mum is the word if you get the wrong side of that, Captain.
You hear chirp on the comms as Commander Hada contacts you, Captain, and says, Captain, I have the captain of the freighter down here on the cargo deck where we're setting up triage. I can send him up to you right away.
Please do, and let's just work to get people stabilized enough to get them to our med bay. We've got that ship stabilized, but I still feel more comfortable with them having a nice warm bed in the Pride.
Copy that, Captain. And before I return, after I send him up, and before I return, may I have your permission to remove this Tellarite reporter who is down here on the cargo bay? He is starting to become somewhat of an interference with the rescue efforts in setting up triage.
Brock. Yeah, permission granted. Just don't hurt him.
Aye, Captain. About 10 minutes later, Captain, the turbolift doors opens up. And stepping back onto the bridge, now that the scene is wrapped up, your bridge crew. Stepping back onto the bridge of the Pride. Although not Baya. Baya's headed back down to main engineering, where Baya, as soon as you walk into main engineering, with soot all over your face, that's kind of streaked down the side of your face, there's these kind of inky black streaks going down from your brow. Your uniform is sweat soaked through. You look like hell.
Yeah.
And you come walking back in. Immediately, main engineering turns and starts applauding you. You see the chief engineer is leading the applaud as about 25 different Ox crew members of the engineering department immediately start clapping. One of your good friends who you room with in your quarters rushes over and throws their arms around you. They give you a big hug. The chief main engineer just strides up to you and says, "Nicely done, Ensign. Nicely done."
Thank you, Chief. It was that a lot for a first away mission, but we have a good crew. We have a good team.
Your first away mission?
Yeah.
Damn, Ensign. You never forget your first almost blow up.
Yeah. I've been hearing that a lot about things that I get to do. And I got a couple. Forget first blow up and forget your first away mission, and I got those two all at once. So that was fun.
Well, listen, I'm going to help you out here because you're not done with your away mission yet. And he reaches down and starts gently taking away the tools in your hand. And he goes, because after you return from an away mission in which you went through what you did, it is standard procedure to
Clean my table.
report to sick bay. Report to sick bay.
Okay.
Get checked out. Make sure you're okay.
Okay. I could do that. Everybody stop clapping now. I'm gonna throw up maybe. I'm gonna go. Okay.
The murmurs and laughters as you say that, and you quickly exit, stepping back into the turbo lift. Captain on the bridge, as Zarya, you retake your station.
I look like hell too, but I don't. I'll go to sickbay later.
Yeah. Zarya comes in, just pulling the top of your uniform back on now that you're in an environment that's accompanying you. But the captain, the Bolian captain, steps on to the bridge and just looks around. Says, "Wow, this is an older ship, huh? I love old ships. This is a beauty."
We like to call it classic.
Classic. That's what I called the Calican before she nearly blew up on me. Captain. Oh, Captain. And walks down the ramp, comes to face you right in front of your chair and says, "Captain, I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for saving me and my crew. I can tell you everything that happened.
I'll have my XO write a report, but I'm glad that you're safe, you and your people. It's a pleasure to meet you, and we're just making sure we get the last of your folks in.
Sure,
get them checked out. And
is it possible to save the ship? I mean, can we tow it or something? And maybe
let's take care of the people first, and then we'll take a look at the ship. How about that?
Sure. Yeah. No. Of course. There were 6 escape pods. We lost contact with them. Last I heard, you're on it. Have you heard any contact from them?
We've made contact. Nothing.
Oh, thank God.
Nothing solid just yet.
Okay.
I'll update you as we learn more. Where are you folks heading?
20 different locations. I'm essentially a space bus, Captain. I was transporting a bunch of people who were trying to move off colony. How much do you know about the Tonyoto system?
Enough, but why don't you inform my XO all about what you know?
Of course. Yeah. Sorry, which one is the circles? They mean the 3, right? Never actually served on a starship. I've mostly been a freighter captain. We just kind of call each other by names. Sorry, first time on a federal. You know what? Sorry. Yes. Which one of you is the XO?
Commander Hatabin. The
one that saved me. Yes.
Yes.
Hello, XO. Pleasure to meet you again. Yes. So it's something like this. Apparently, there's been a lot of ignored transmissions, and follows the commander away from the captain's chair. All right. Which means we are going to take the final scene, and that is going to be Lieutenant Commander Cadence, you breaking through the upper atmosphere of this planet. As the paragram begins to rattle a little bit, that orange flames racing across the cockpit. You remember so many times during training where your instructors thought they could scare the piss out of you by cutting power just as they made you go into a reentry. You also remember some of the stupid things that should have gotten you kicked out of the academy. This world is a little like Earth, at least from the sky. It has the same sort of telltale signs of a lush forest-like environment down below and signs of great sparse civilizations, but obviously not quite as evolved or as advanced as the civilizations of Earth in that they're still in that sort of early cycle. As you break the upper atmosphere, you manage to do so near the northern hemisphere and towards the pole, because that is where sensors are telling you there really isn't anybody living. No one's going to see a great fireball in the sky. Traveling at the speeds that you can travel at above most of the cloud cover through here, sensors also tell you where there are some storm cell patterns that you can fly through, which is another few minutes of kind of pure joyriding as shields basically do their work and allow you to fly right through a major lightning storm in one of the northern hemisphere parts of the upper atmosphere. Readings are coming in indicating that this world is actually surprisingly similar to, well, it's a class M planet, so it's not too much variance here in what you're finding, but a beautiful world from the looks of it. As you start nearing the escape pods, you are able to lower your altitude and break cloud cover to try to get eyeballs on things. And because you actually have 3 dimensions, you can actually come to a full stop should you choose. Hovering over the area where the escape pods are, you see a couple of people running out from the crash site. Now, from the air, you can see the scarring through the trees where the escape pods landed. And immediately, Commander, your mind, it takes you right back to the Dominion War. Anytime there was any kind of intact ship that had crash landed or any kind of technology that had been abandoned like that, you had to scuttle it. Here, you're going to have to get creative. The natives cannot see any of the technology that's being left behind. These escape pods need to be dealt with. It's possible that the Pride's cargo bay transporters could handle that. But that's going to be tricky with all this magnesite. But you do see what looks like a full complement of each escape pod. Indeed, looks like they have, much like lifeboats tying each other together after a ship disaster, have all come together. And you see a small crowd of people waving at you from the ground below. And you hear immediately your comm static comes through clearer than ever. We see you, Commander. We see you.
Howdy.
Beautiful
How's it
sight.
going? Hey, happy to have you. We're going to have to figure out how to pick up those pods.
Right. Well, unfortunately, we don't know how to deal with that. One of our engineers down here suggested maybe blowing them up after we got off planet, if we got off planet, but I shot that down really quick. It would still leave
Much like an
debris.
escape pod, I guess. Yeah.
Right.
All right. Do you have any tow cables, ropes?
I've got one tow cable that's still fully functional, but we don't have anything like ropes. Mostly all we have is med kits and emergency rations down here.
All right.
We've got a few emergency shelters.
Supplies on my ship. We're going to see what we can just strap right to my ship, and we are going to haul it out of there.
Copy that. Were you able to locate escape pod 6?
Hey, Eric, that was what I was going after. How was the deal with escape pod 6?
Oh, I thought you were. You
no,
told me.
I went to go get the other ones, get eyes on them while the crew went. So I thought we were.
No, I misunderstood you. All right. In which case, you tell them all to sit tight and you power onto the next escape pod. So you put eyeballs on everybody who's okay. They tell you they'll sit tight. Okay. In which case, you continue your trek through the clouds, making sure to use the planet to your advantage so that no one spots you. And as you start coming upon the location of escape pod 6, you of course do see the biodome has changed dramatically in this area. As you've flown over the ocean now and have entered into another place, another part of the continent. This is much more similar to the landscape of Mars out here. It's like the Grand Canyon. You just see red rocks and orange stone in beautiful formations. You also see what looks like really milky colored crystal formations that are kind of dimly reflecting some of the sunlight that's shining through. Almost like it's unrefined, smudged quartz that's growing at the size of maybe a small building that's kind of jutting up out of the ground. However, over by the location, you see something rather breathtaking, something that scientists and people who study other cultures that Starfleet has never encountered before would both be horrified and fascinated to see. In the vicinity of the downed escape pod, as you breach through the clouds and glimpse down, you see what is undoubtedly a war being fought, a battle. Thousands and thousands clashing in an open field of this red stone within 10 kilometers of where supposedly this escape pod has gone down. It looks like 2, maybe 3 armies in the process of slaughtering one another by the thousands. It is what it would probably look like to see some kind of warfare happening from the sky if you were to observe like the catapults and arrows and such being used. Bronze Age may have been a little bit inaccurate, or perhaps Starfleet hasn't been back here in a hot minute. But what you're seeing here is an imperial, what looks like is going to be a history-altering battle being fought between 3 opposing forces.
Okay. That makes things easy. Do I see where the pod is in relation to mini Thermopylae over here?
You do and you don't. Because as I said, just like it did when you were above, you just see a blob on the sensors and you're not getting a good sense as to individual life signs. But the generalized thinking is that shadow is somewhere down there in that. And that is where we are going to stop tonight's episode of The Last Excelsior.
Yay. We did it. We did not.
Of course, the Eric cliffhanger. Of course.
Y'all saved the entire crew, and you're in the process of saving 5 of the escape pods. Each escape pod held about 20 people or so.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay. Good number.
So right now, there is at least, there could be up to 20 people.
I have to do a quick disappearing act.
Yes.
Because I literally have to go disappear and go work at the Magic Castle right now.
Go to work.
So I love you all so much.
Bye, buddy.
Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
Good work tonight.
I just held a door open. I just pushed a door open.
You got
if
the
you
engineer
hadn't, we
to the
could have
door
got
to
in.
save the ship.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, that's
And
true.
then you gave the engineer the auto successes that she needed on the hardest of the 3 rolls with the biggest time interval. So nicely
like
Also,
done.
you shot the mine so I didn't explode. So thank you for that again.
Yeah, and you also saved Sam's character.
Okay,
from
you're
being
right. I
involved.
did a lot of things. Thank you, Daddy. I'm the best. Yay.
right.
I love you all so much.
Good night, Bonnie.
Bye.
Good night,
Love you.
everyone.
That is going to do it us for here on Last Excelsior. Thank you so much for joining us. We will be back, of course, next Monday night for the 3rd part of this very first episode. We look forward to seeing you then. Until then, friends, hailing frequencies are closed.